Here we go, going live. Hello and welcome to Saturday Night Gaming. I'm your host as always, Mark W. And I have on the phone via Discord, Mr. Rob Bob. Say hello, Rob Bob.
Hello.
Hello, he says. I think his voice is a little on the loud side compared to mine. I'll play with volume as needed. Yeah, tonight we're gonna get into some game book action with a fighting fantasy classic called, as you can see right here before you, Creature of Havoc. Not to be confused with Creature of Habit, I guess. And I haven't played this one before, but I've heard it is one of the best of the classic fighting fantasy game books. As you can see on the cover, it is written by Steve Jackson. And for those who don't know, in the tabletop gaming world, there are two very prominent Steve Jacksons who are completely different people. There is the American one and the British one. This is the British one. The American one is the dude behind Steve Jackson Games, who made some famous games like Munchkin and Illuminati and GURPS, and things like that. And this is the other Steve Jackson, who's also famous, who is the founder of Games Workshop and has written a bunch of these fighting fantasy books and so on and so forth. So two different people. But with that out of the way, yeah, this is one I never played before. It sounds fun. I hear it's very hard. I don't expect to win then. And it is the premise is basically you are a monster and you don't know of your origin. I think you're supposed to be something like Frankenstein's monster. And I guess I don't know. I guess I don't know exactly what you're trying to do. If I had to guess, something like find out your origins and kill people. There's probably some killing of people involved. I don't know if you're gonna find your creator, who is someone like Dr. Frankenstein, and possibly take revenge on him, or maybe make peace with him. I'm just making stuff up. I have no idea. But yeah, this is again by Steve Jackson, and I actually have been showing once in a while some recent cool things I got from Mr. Jackson, because I got a book, a Kickstarter book that I don't have. I don't have the book with me, but it's called Dice Men. It's about it's the origin story of Steve Jackson Games, and I got a bunch of cool signatures and cool little tidbits, cool little products from them. This one is a reproduction of their very first magazine that Steve Jackson and Ian Livingston. They've always been partners in crime, by the way. This is their first newsletter they made, the reproduction of it. It cost 10 pence back in like 70 something, and you can see it has their signatures. So this is what's actually the newsletter that kind of evolved into the famous magazine called White Dwarf. But at first it was just this very tiny newsletter. Hey Ryan, how's it going? It even has a crossword puzzle. Overseer's Penitent Under Pressure. Light metal used in foiling. Aluminum? I at least didn't know that one. Anyway, let's not get too much into that. I also, along with the Kickstarter, I got a copy of a. This isn't the one. Um, Another fighting fantasy book, the very first one, called The Warlock of Firetop Mountain. So I have that in my collection once again. I used to play my brother's copy when I was a kid, but now I have my own. And it's by Scholastic. What I learned with my order, I ordered a whole bunch of these. The Scholastic ones, they're fine gameplay wise, but they replaced all of the internal artwork to like digital paintings, I guess, and they're not as good. But the gameplay is still good. And you can see I also got the signatures of those two fellows right here, so that's fun. Ian Livingston at the top and Steve Jackson at the bottom. But enough about signatures and showing off. Oh, Ryan said he played this on his phone. Which one? Warlock or Creature of Havoc? That's a cool thing to know. But yeah, let's get into it. I haven't done anything as far as prepping character sheets or printing it or anything, so I'm going to write it up on the fly. And Ryan says Warlock is the game he's talking about on his phone. That's cool. Once again, I have the what I like to do in when I do these game book streams is I have this overhead view, so you can see the character sheet, which is blank right now, but I'll fill it out. And also I have this nice dice tray, and you can see a nice overhead view of the dice rolling action as it ensues. And you know, when we get into intense combats and stuff like that, I'll probably um, resize the window. I was just trying to do it, and then I realized I need to adjust a few things. Yeah, I'll do something like that. So that's kind of a neat little camera angle I got going here. All right, so why don't we jump into it though? Because I have a feeling we're gonna have a lot of rules to read, and I have to write up the character sheet and everything, so it's gonna take a little time. And we started pretty late, so let's get on with it. You excited, Mr.
Okay.
Rob Bob?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
Creature of Havoc. So it starts out showing us this map, Alancia. As you can see, we're obviously not in Earth, so it's not literally like Frankenstein. Oh look, oh it's like a okay. I didn't realize it was like a shared fighting fantasy world because you can see Firetop Mountain is right here. Uh, which is that book I just showed you. And some of these names sound familiar though I can't really place them. I'm not like a hardcore expert at fighting fantasy. I do notice Oyster Bay, and that's funny. Fire Island and Oyster Bay. There's one fighting fantasy game book called Island of the Lizard King, and they used a couple
Wait,
of
Fire
names of
Island?
yeah, they used the names of a couple of places here on Long Island where me and Rob Bob live because they thought they sounded cool in this one fighting fantasy book. Fire Island and Oyster Bay. Oyster Bay is in Nassau County, uh, and I believe North Shore, so it's like maybe 30 miles from us. And Fire Island is straight south. It's like this thin strip below the main
Yeah, that's what.
body of Long
That's
Island
like.
where all the beaches are.
Yeah, it's the best
People go there for
beaches.
beaches, yeah. Otherwise, I don't know everything here, but so what does Ryan say? That he said that he always loved the maps and books when he was reading. Cool. Yastromo's Tower. I don't know who Yastromo is. All right, so let's get into it. How will you start your adventure? Oh my goodness. What I'm realizing here is that it's like it looks like we don't start the actual adventure till page 35. We'll see. All right, time to use the funky arms that are on this book stand that I got a few years back. It's been tremendously helpful in trying to YouTube game books. You need to be able to hold up the book somehow. It's a little bit fiddly. You gotta fiddle with these arms, but that's okay. All right, the book you hold in your hand is a gateway to another world, a world of dark magic, terrifying monsters, brooding castles, treacherous dungeons, and untold danger. And also, I have gas. Excuse me. Where a noble few defend against the myriad schemes of the forces of evil. Welcome to the world of fighting fantasy. You are about to embark on a thrilling fantasy adventure in which you are the hero. You decide which route to take, which dangers to risk, which creatures to fight, but be warned, it will also be you who has to live or die by the consequences of your actions. Take heed, for success is by no means certain, and you may well fail in your mission on your first attempt. But have no fear, with experience, skill, and luck, each new attempt should bring you a step closer to the ultimate goal. Prepare yourself, for when you turn the page, you will enter an exciting, perilous fighting fantasy adventure where every choice is yours to make. An adventure in which you are the hero. That's always kind of been their slogan. A story in which you are the hero, or something like that. How would you like to begin your adventure? If you are new to fighting fantasy, it's a good idea to read through the rules, which appear on pages 351 to 360 before you start. I mean, I'm not, but I'll probably skim over that quick. I'll see if it's all redundant or not. If you've not played fighting fantasy before, you'll realize that to have any chance of success, you need to discover your hero's attributes. You can create your own character by following the instructions on pages 351 to 352. Sorry, that's if you have played before. Yeah. Don't forget to enter your character detailed in the adventure sheet. You should also take note of the rules for instant death, which are new to this adventure. Okay, so there's new stuff anyway that aren't in the other adventures. So I guess we pretty much need to check it out at 351. Do we want to go there right now? And they have a scheme for alternate dice, but I do have dice handy, so no issue there. All right, all the way in the back in 350. I don't know why they don't just put it all in the front, honestly. I'm not sure what we get by having to flip to the back, but no big deal. Here we are. And it's kind of hard to get the arm set up when it's all the way at the end. There we go. Before embarking on your adventure, you must first determine your strengths and weaknesses. Use dice to find out your initial skill, stamina, and luck scores. I'm gonna actually enhance my lighting a little bit. Be right back 1 second. I apologize. Oh, Hopefully that helps a little bit. I know it's a little dark. It's always kind of difficult to get the lighting right. Too much glare or too many shadows, things like that. All right, anyway, yeah, so we're going to use dice to find out our initial skills, stamina, and luck scores. On page 360, there's an adventure sheet which you can record details. Yeah. I'm going to try to go through this quickly so we can get on to the game. We're starting pretty late. All right, so skill, stamina, and luck. Why don't I go to copying the adventure sheet or whatever they call it? Yeah, that's basically your character sheet as it would be called in any RPG. Okay, so it's a very simple one. I thought maybe there would be more to it because they mentioned special rules, but all you need is skill, stamina, luck, and equipment. Sometimes there's more boxes than that. This is actually quite possibly the simplest
That's
one I've
pretty
seen.
simple.
Yeah, so all right, let's write it up. Creature. Hopefully you can actually see what I'm writing. Of Havoc. All right, so we got our skill. We got our stamina. Right, nice and big. And we have our luck and equipment. So we got plenty of room for equipment. The very basic skill, stamina, and luck. Skill is your combat skill, how good you are at fighting generally. Stamina is basically hit points in D&D terms. And luck is your luck. You will sometimes be asked to test your luck, which is like making a saving roll in Tunnels and Trolls or a saving throw in D&D. And I think you can spend the luck. Well, I think every time you have to make a luck roll, you actually have to deduct one. And also you can choose, I think generally in Fighting Fantasy, you can choose to spend a luck to like do something in the battle to help you. I can't remember the specifics, so I guess we better read it over. Let's roll one die for our skill. These games can be really hard if you roll bad for these stats. So I have a little house rule. You could say it's a little bit cheating. Just if you roll a 1 for skill or luck, you can re-roll. Maybe you could say for stamina, if you roll double ones, it's also, but that's unlikely. Let's just go with a 1 for skill or luck, and you can re-roll. Especially if you have a roll of 1 for skill. Usually you just might as well give up right there. But here we go. Here's our skill. We're gonna add 6 to this. All right, we got an 11. That's great. Can't get much better than that. You can get a little better. Stamina is 2 dice. It should be 2 dice, right? Yeah, 2 dice, add 12. All right, it's not great, but we're going to stick
That's
with it.
pretty low, I think.
It is pretty low, 16. And luck should be the same kind of roll as skill, but let me just verify. Yeah, it is. And we got some good luck. All right, so next to top notch in skill and luck, but not quite top notch, and pretty poor stamina. So I think overall that's probably good, unless we could just take a lot of damage, then we're not in good shape. um, so let's see. I'm just gonna skim through the rules. Blah blah blah. Make sure you have an eraser handy because you're gonna change values. Blah blah blah. The skill is your general fighting expertise. Higher is better. Yeah, I kind of explained all these things. Battles. You will often come across pages in the book which instruct you to fight an opponent. An option to flee may be given, but if not, or you choose to attack anyway, you must resolve the battle. And what you do is roll 2 dice, once for your opponent. Add its skill. That's its total attack strength. Do the same for yourself. You get your own attack strength. Whoever's higher wins the combat round. And if you wound your opponent, in other words, you win the combat round, you subtract 2 points from its stamina score. You may use luck here to do additional damage. If your opponent has wounded you, you subtract 1 point from your stamina. That's actually different from most fighting fantasy games. I think because I'm a big tough monster, I automatically take less damage. But I can also use luck again to mitigate that. And you make the appropriate adjustments and you re-roll if you have to. But let's check about luck. We actually have a special instant death rule. Instant death. As you learn more about yourself during the adventure, you will realize that you are an extremely powerful creature, capable of killing most opponents with a single blow. Whoa. If you roll a double when rolling your attack strength, then you have landed such a death-dealing blow. Your opponent dies instantly. Okay, that's awesome. So doubles are insta win, insta
Instant
kill.
kill. So you're pretty strong in this, I guess.
Yeah, fighting more than one opponent. If you are involved in a fight with more than one opponent, you must choose at the start of each attack round which of the opponents you'll be directing your own attack towards. Roll the dice for each of them. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so anyone with a higher attack strength than yours will score a hit against you. So you could potentially take 2 hits. You cannot score hits against anyone except the opponent you choose at the start of your round. So you choose one target, and that's the only one you can hurt, while the rest can pile on at you. So here's the luck paragraph, or a couple of paragraphs. At various times during your adventure, either in battles or when you come across situations in which you could either be lucky or unlucky, detail of these are given in the pages themselves, you may call on your luck to make the outcome more favorable. But beware, using luck is risky business, and if you're unlucky, the results could be disastrous. The procedure for using your luck is as follows. Roll 2 dice. If the number rolled is equal to or less than your current luck score, you have been lucky and the result will go in your favor. If the number is higher, you've been unlucky and you'll be penalized. The procedure is known as testing your luck. Each time you test your luck, you must subtract 1 point from your current luck. Thus, you will soon realize that the more you rely on luck, the more risky this will become. Using luck in battles. Hopefully we can get to the game real soon. On certain pages of the book, you'll be told to test your luck, blah, blah, blah. However, in battles, you always have the option of using your luck, either to inflict a more serious wound or to minimize the effects of a wound on yourself. If you just wounded the creature, you can test your luck, and if you're lucky, you do 2 extra. If you're unlucky, you must restore 1 point to the creature, so you only do 1 damage instead of 2. Just trying to get through this quickly rather than read it all verbatim. If the creature has just wounded you, you may test your luck to try to minimize the wound. If you're lucky, you have managed to avoid the wound and do not deduct any stamina points. But if you're unlucky, you take 1 extra damage. And you have to subtract 1 luck every time you do that. It's just the rule of the game. Alright, restoring these things. Your skill does not change much. Occasionally a paragraph will give instructions to increase or decrease your skill. You can only use 1 weapon at a time. So if there's 2 swords that increase your skill, you can only use 1 of them. Stamina and provisions. Your stamina changes a lot. Blah, blah, blah. Your backpack contains enough provisions for 10 meals. So I have 10 meals off the bat. You may rest and eat at any time except when engaged in a battle. So you can't do this in the middle of battle, otherwise you can do it any time. Eating a meal restores 4 stamina, so you would... I mean, essentially we're carrying 40 bonus stamina on us, so in that sense, having 16 stamina feels less terrible. And there's probably other things that heal you as well. So I'm writing 10 for provisions. They say I separate provisions remaining boxes on the adventure sheet. I don't think I saw that though. So I think I just saw equipment. Doesn't really matter, but okay. Your luck may never exceed its initial value. Stamina may never exceed initial value. Drinking the potion of strength, see later, will restore your stamina to its initial level at any time. Hints on play. There is one true way to play through. Sorry, there's one true way through Creature of Havoc, and it will take you several attempts to find it. Yeah, I heard this one was hard. Make notes and draw a map. Oh, I gotta draw a map as I explore. Okay, this map will be invaluable in future adventures and enable you to progress rapidly through the unexplored sections. Not all areas contain treasure. Some merely contain traps and creatures which you will no doubt fall foul of. You may make wrong turnings during your quest, and while you may indeed progress through to your ultimate destination, it is by no means certain you will find what you are searching for. It will be realized that entries make no sense if read in numerical order. Yeah. The one true way involves a minimum of risk, and any player, no matter how weak on initial rolls, should be able to get through fairly easily. May the luck of the gods go with you on the adventure ahead. Alright. Anything else? Nope. So, I'm wondering if I should get graph paper from the map or probably just plain paper is fine. But back to the beginning, hopefully we can start. This is me when I look in the mirror in the morning. Uh, wow. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna have to. This is just the intro. I've gotta. I don't know if I'm ready for all this. I mean, I'm hoping to get right into like action, but okay, I guess I gotta be reading a lot. And this like background is
Whole
just bonus
story.
material, or what's that?
It's like a whole story.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if this is just kind of like bonus material that I can choose to read or not, or if it's critical to read. Because this is from page like 11 to a lot to 11 to 33. Jeez. Okay, I guess I'll just jump into it. Instead of thinking about it, I could be on to page 2 or 3 by now. All right, let's clear our throats, or at least my throat, and dig in. Oof. Gotta warm up my throat now. Yeah, so Ryan asked if I'm making a second batch of eggnog for Christmas. I totally am. I need some eggnog to prepare my throat right now, though. Okay, by the time we finish this intro, Rob Bob might have to go to sleep. I'm not even joking. But let's see. The Creature of Havoc adventure takes place in the region of Alancia, where the dusty windward plain meets Trolltooth Pass. That sounds like the name of a place in Tunnels and Trolls. Trolltooth Pass. North of the pass, the forest of spiders and the Moonstone Hills hide dark secrets. This is the region that the necromancer Zaradan Mar considers his own. To the south, the town of Salamonis stands as the last vestige of civilization before the rolling hills become the mountainous reaches of Balthus Dyer's Kragan Heights. Troll 2, yeah. Yeah, right. Westwards, the featureless windward plain leads the way towards Port Blacksand and the Western Ocean. The plain is a vital trade route between East Alanzia and both Western Alanzia and the Old World. Wares are brought to the west by the merchants' caravans, which are heavily guarded by hired warriors known as strong arms, whose job is to see that the caravans pass safely across the flatlands, those treacherous wastes east of Trolltooth Pass. I don't know. I'm starting to think I have doubts that I need to read this. It seems like just a lot of background info. Uh, I'm just skimming through to see if there's anything that seems critical to mention. I guess I don't really know though. I mean, it could be this info is critical. Like you need to know about this guy Zaradin Mar the Necromancer, maybe. I don't. Bear with me as I try to evaluate here. I don't know if I can
I
handle
think you
reading
should
all that.
just read it.
I'll just go for it.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Where do I even start? Okay, it is paragraph 1. Uh, shoot. All right, I'll keep going. Didn't expect this level of reading. Where the heck was I though? Yeah, the strong arms, blah blah blah. Okay, second page. Trolltooth is goblin backwards. What? Nilbog. Well, was that in that movie, Troll 2? Nilbog is goblin backwards. In the 80s, they loved like encoding words, like some evil fiend. Like say his name was, say it was Satan. He'd be calling himself Natas, and people would be like, "Oh, I don't get it." I don't. And then somebody would come up with a brilliant solution, like, "Oh my God, Natas is Satan backwards! You found me out." I actually read a really good fantasy series by Harry Turtledove, in which the villain does something like that. Of course, he wrote it in the 80s. Um, it was pretty good though. It's called the Videssos cycle, which is kind of a fantasy version of the Byzantine Empire, following some Roman soldiers who get transported there magically. But the villain's name is Ashvar, and that's amazing. And he goes around incognito early on in the first book, and it's some. And I can't remember how they spelled it, but they like rearranged the letters, and that was his secret. Like you wouldn't do that if you're if I'm trying to if I'm the evil Rin or the evil Mark W. I'm not gonna just rearrange the letters of my name, and that's my trick to go incognito. And Ryan says you got it. If you didn't get a bag movie reference, I'd have to give you my first thumbs down. All right, so let's read through this. I gotta stop messing around. Once through the pass, the strong arms leave the caravans at Chalice or Silverton and pick up another caravan making the return journey. Some prefer the peace and quiet of smaller villages like Coven and Drystone, but not even the most courageous strong arm will stay near Dree, home of the witch women. And here we are, Dree, home of the witch women. A dark village nestling in the fork of two rivers like a viper in its nest. Dree is a magnet for miscreants and black-hearted creatures. It came into being originally as the home of the exiled hag witch Romina Dree, who had been banished from the town of Salamonis for her hideous magical experiments. Not content with the more acceptable forms of witchcraft, curses, foretelling the future, love potions, and herbal remedies, she turned her attention to the essence of life itself. And you can probably see where this is going. She's going to turn into like a Frankenstein monster type, I guess. Not my Dr. Frankenstein type. Or maybe that necromancer guy is. Maybe they work together. Romina Dree developed a fascination for what became known as maranga, lemon meringue pie, or moringa, the transplanting of limbs and organs from one creature to another by magical means, and was obsessed by the desire to create a sort of hybrid super creature. Her magic was used on both men and beasts, and it left many mutant mixtures of each species suffering in the gutters of Salamonis. Her vile witchcraft was branded as an unholy insult to the sanctity of life. Bear with me. She was on the verge of displeasing the gods of Salamonis. Thus she was banished from the town of Dree. She was taken in chains to a place far north of Salamonis and there released. This place was in the fork between the Deedle Water and Spider rivers, and there Romina Dree made her home and continued her experiments. Though exiled from Salamonis, she was not without her devotees, and many of her fellow hag witches from Salamonis made the pilgrimage to visit or even join Romina in Dree, as the growing village became known. Excuse me. And from other areas of Alantia, witch women joined the growing community, where they would practice their black arts black arts freely and learn more of the developing art of Maranga from Romina herself.
Which women?
Sorry,
Which women?
the witch women. Yes, are you making a joke?
No, I mean like, uh, yeah, whatever.
The witch women.
Yeah. Wait, which women?
Yeah, you're making a joke, right?
Yeah, okay,
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, yeah. I wasn't sure if you got it.
I get it. Yes. Outsiders who sailed the Deedle Water and happened across the witch women's village were horrified at the sights they saw. Semi-creatures with dreadful deformities were left in the streets to suffer. Indescribable monsters, which by right should never have seen life at all, but were now doomed to scratch a living in the gutters of Dree. This they did by murdering and feeding off other creatures whose mutations were such that they could not defend themselves or escape. Hell itself could surely not boast that its minions were as wretched as the Maranga spawned creatures of Dree. And Ryan said this is very Doctor Who Talons of Wang Chang. Wait, I don't know what you're talking about. That specific episode of Doctor Who. I used to watch the Tom Baker Doctor Who mostly. and I watched a little bit of the new one. I kind of just watched the first season. I was like, all right, that's good, but I don't know. I don't really feel like watching any more of it. The witch women reveled in their creations. In their eyes, each suffering was inevitable, and they considered their creations no more than living vegetables, unworthy of pity. The creatures were eaten as food, or kept as pets, or used as subjects in further meringue experiments. Later, the most hideous were sold to visiting merchants and traders as curiosities, and many are to be seen in the traveling circuses which tour Alanzia. Drie's notoriety spread, and the greedy eyes of opportunistic traders turned towards the village. Trading in witchcraft was a time-consuming business, since witches tend to be hermit-like creatures living alone in obscure places. If trade links could be established with Dree, how convenient it would be to buy potions, charms, curses, and enchanted objects from a single place. Or so merchants thought, but setting up trading links was not easy. All visitors to Dree who were not practicing witches were at first greeted warmly, but when the crafty witches felt their visitor had relaxed his guard, a simple potion was administered to enable him to be captured easily. This was how the witch acquired fresh subjects for their experiments. It's like the specimens gathered for Dr. Frankenstein, right? In Day of the Dead. The first trader to venture into Dree and survive was Ganga of Mirewater. His enterprise was to be admired, and he made handsome profits from his trading. He was the first to realize, camera adjusting, that the only way to trade successfully was to enter Dree with goods the witches valued. Imagine that, but could not get elsewhere. He scoffed at his forerunners, who took in exotic fruits, jewels, fine silks, and spices. Each one had finished up with a claw beast's arms, a lizard man's face, or a monkey's brain, if he was allowed to live at all. I don't know what a monkey is. It sounds like a slur, though. Or maybe it's a monkey. Ganga took in not spices, but herbs, scullyweed, medusa grass. That's probably grass that turns you into stone. Curse leaf, purity plant, and the like. He took in dried goblin livers, manticore stings, elf eyes, and pulped flesh grub juice. The witches became willing partners in his trading activities, and it was many years before other traders appeared with similar items of witchcraft, and deprived him of his profitable monopoly. But by then, Ganga had already made his fortune. And Ryan says there was an alien in London setting mutant experiments loose in the sewers. It was a Tom Baker one with Leela as a companion. Cool. He's talking about the Doctor Who episode. He's not talking about something that recently happened in the real world with aliens in London. The women of Dree. The witch women formed an insular community. They very rarely leave the village of Dree, and usually then only in spiritual form. However, Romina's younger sisters delighted in appearing to the world outside. These three, known as the Women of Dree, have become infamous around Trolltooth Pass for appearing to travelers and strong arms to warn them of something or send them on missions. Their unexpected appearance is terrifying and may lead an unwary traveler to distrust them. Certainly, next page. Like I'm reading a whole novel here. Certainly, they are known to have sent many an adventurer on a pointless mission merely in jest. But they do seem to have some sort of maternal instinct towards mankind, and they are probably feared more than they ought to be. There is no evidence of their actually causing harm to those whom they have chosen to meet, unlike their neighbors in Dree. The rest of the world would be happy to leave Dree alone, so long as the women kept to themselves. But one or two witches have been known to leave Dree and settle in the lands of men. Usually they establish themselves in harmless occupations as herbalists, like Vitriana in the forest of Yore, fortune tellers like Rosina near Coven, or Coven Man. If you do you know that B movie reference, right? Coven. It's not Coven. It's Coven. Or cooks like the sisters of Sheena in Balthus Dyer's Citadel. But occasionally, one of the witch women will leave Dree in search of mischief. This was the origin of the ill repute of the village. And more recently, with the strengthening of Zaradan Mare's power, Dree has earned the abject hatred of Trolltooth past. And Ryan says, I like to think some viewer in London was panicked until you explained it wasn't real. Yeah, American movie. I love that movie. American movie, the fun movie about these guys in, are they in Wisconsin? Trying to make like a low budget horror movie. And the main character is super passionate about it, but he's like, he's just trying to rope all his friends and family into it and pay them nothing, basically. And eventually he makes his movie called Coven, but he pronounces it Coven. And it's actually a true story. It's a documentary. It was Romina's sisters. By the way, this is the section called Zaradan Mar, the Necromancer. It was Romina's sisters who secretly raised the infant Zaradan. No one knows who fathered the child, but the most likely candidate is one of the numerous hell demons conjured up by the witch women during their black mass. I mean, they could just meet a nice man, but it's probably just the hell demons. Some, however, prefer to believe that the necromancer is merely a product of another of the Maranga experiments. Being the only man-child in a village of witch women, yeah, do they not have men there at all? It's just all witch women. The sisters removed him from the village and raised him somewhere in the Moonstone Hills. When he was old enough, Zaradan was sent east into the Flatlands to be educated. He had already shown skill in simple sorcery, and the witches wished him to study the magic arts under a teacher of great repute. This man was a Vulgara Darkstorm, and the young Zaradan was accepted as his pupil along with two others, Balthus Dyer and Zagor. That name is familiar. Is he like the bad guy in Warlock of Firetop Mountain? I think it might be this guy right here, Zagor. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Powerful warlock Zagor must be slain. So that's a shared universe in the fighting fantasy world. Ryan says that I'm not a big documentary guy, but it's fantastic. That is a good one. I watched it about 5 times. All right, so I don't know who Baltus Dyer is, but I think of who's the guy from Battlestar Galactica? Maybe I'm thinking of something else. I don't know. Gaius Baltar. That's what I'm thinking. Baltar. Not Balthus. Anyway, the three of them studied hard and perfected the black arts with a skill which Darkstorm had never seen in any of his previous pupils. The three became both friends and rivals, each respecting each other's skills, but each striving to prove that his were the greatest. It was during his studies that Zaradan changed his name. Zaradan Dree, as he was called, was a name that embarrassed him. He didn't want to be associated with the Dree. Yeah, the Dree was a village of witches, and he was a man, so everybody would make fun of him and call him a girly man. No, I just made that part up. And the name was a constant reminder of their primitive magic with its simple herbalism and curses. The only interest Zaradan had in his home was a witch's fascination with Maranga, a subject that obsessed him. Okay. He didn't want to be associated with the simple witchcraft, only the meringue, Ferengi, the lemon meringue pie. All right. Oof. He changed his name with a single spell, which, like, why do you need a spell to change your name? You just go to your local government office and fill out a form, right? Okay. He changed his name with a single spell, which he had learned especially from an ancient black magic tome.
Need
Right.
black magic to change your name.
Yeah, sometimes those forms, like, government forms, do feel like you're engaging in black magic when you fill them out. One midsummer night, he locked himself away from sunset to sunrise to complete the ritual. Wow. There's about how long it takes to fill out a government form. When he emerged, Zaradan Dree was a name which had been erased from the minds of everyone who had ever heard of it. Okay, so that's more powerful than a government form. Instead, from that time onwards, all knew of the man as Zaradan Mar. I wonder if he could have done just half the spell if he was only changing half of his name. Do you think of that? Mar and his co-pupils learned at a rate which astonished the aging Darkstorm. who soon became fearful of their powers. When they sensed their mentor's weakness, the three eventually turned their allegiance from him towards themselves, and they reveled in the power that their new skills brought. In their own minds, they became powerful demigods, scornful of the pathetic world around them. When Volgara Darkstorm, excuse me, it's all that salsa con queso I ate. When Volgara Darkstorm realized how dangerous his pupils were becoming, he tried to stop them. The result was a short, bloody battle of magic between them, which ended as the Demonic Three, as they called themselves collectively, cut down their teacher with a carefully disguised Rain of Knives spell. So they were carefully disguised, like, I'm just making it rain, don't worry. The crops need some water. That's not water, it's knives. Shh. After looting the old wizard's library, the young sorcerers fled Darkstone's home and headed east towards Trolltooth Pass. From there, they sought refuge in Darkwood Forest, where they eventually split up to continue on their own separate ways. And I do love my Mexican food, that's right. Though I don't really think Tostito salsa con queso really counts as proper Mexican food. But I'll take it anyway. Coven. Sorry, Coven. It's Coven, man. No, it's pronounced Coven. Coven sounds like oven, man. Zaradan Mar disguised himself as a prospector and headed south towards the village of Coven, a half-day's journey from his home in Dree. Though his disguise was merely a sham to enable him to build an underground stronghold for his future operations, he was astonished to find gold deposits in the ground. He immediately realized that with gold, he could recruit an army, and soon his Yellowstone mines were making him a powerful and wealthy man. He could just retire, give up his ambition. Nope, sorry. His real ambition, however, was not to become merely wealthy, but to rule over his own empire and eventually over the whole of Alangia. And Ryan said, I sent my father tamales for Christmas. That sounds good. I want Christmas tamales. Nobody would ever get me those. But this he could not do alone. He had already recruited Valaska Rue, a well-rounded human with a fiery temper, to supervise his mines. Rue was a scruffy character, but he had a will of iron and shared Mars' thirst for power. His loyalty to his master persuaded Mars to share his secret ambitions with Rue, and between the two of them they laid plans of conquest. Alaska Rue was dispatched to find suitable officers for Mars' army. Meanwhile, Mar himself was deep in thought. He had recently heard a story which was occupying his mind. It was about the aliens in London. Hannikus, a wizard of neutral alignment, had arrived in Coven to gather supplies to take back his home in Knott's Landing. No, in Not the Mama? Let's see what's on the next page. In Knot Oak Wood. Oh yeah, this is a lot of text. Let's keep going through it. It's not boring though. I'm not falling asleep. I just don't know if it was
Yeah,
necessary to read it all.
probably not.
During his visit, he had bumped into Zaradan Mar. After some hours of talk, Mar offered Hannikus a position within his underground complex, looking after the area in which he held his office, outside the mines. Hannikus gratefully accepted. Mar realized that the wizard knew much about the surrounding regions, and he pressed Hannikus for more and more of his knowledge. Among other tales, Hannikus told Zaradan the legend of the vapors of Stittle Woad, the Rainbow Ponds. Hidden deep within the dark depths of the forest of spiders, sheltered from prying eyes by tall spear-tipped trees, is an enchanted glade. Excuse me again, the queso. Though outsiders have never seen this glade, thus no story can ever fully be believed, it is said to contain a number of beautiful rock pools. As if designed by the gods themselves, each pool is decorated with brightly colored flowers which bloom throughout the seasons. Tall orange lilies, scented with sweet perfumes, rise from the waters. Each pool is fringed with bouquets of colorful peacock flowers, and shining silver bells are scattered among them. Silver bells, tinkling faintly as the wind disturbs their delicate silver flowers. Did I just reread something? No, colorful? Okay, never mind. The pools are wondrous to behold in their full splendor and are known as the rainbow ponds. But the rainbow ponds are so called not because of their adornment by the most beautiful flowers in the whole of Alancia, but rather because of the waters contained within the pools themselves. For each of the rainbow ponds is a different color. This extraordinary natural feature is said by some simply to be a matter of crystal deposits in the rocks beneath the pools, but this may not be true. The colors are so distinctively different that this phenomenon may well have been created by magic. Elvins would delight in conjuring up these gardens of color, but elvins are not to be found in the area. Most likely, this is the magic of the elves. Wait, are elvins not elves? They're like related to elves. I'm so confused. So elvins would like it, but they're not.
I think they're the same.
Okay, I thought its
I
point
don't know.
was that the elvins they would like this, but it's probably not them because they're not in the area. But then it says it's likely the magic of elves. I don't know.
Oh,
Just
maybe not then. I don't know.
let's keep going. Needless to say, speculation abounds about the mysterious properties of the rainbow ponds. The turquoise pond, it is said, brings the gift of beauty. See, there might be something I have to refer back to. If I find these ponds, I can, choose which one I want to bathe in or whatever, depending on what the legends say here in the intro. Yeah, but the turquoise pond, it is said, brings the gift of beauty. Excuse me. Bathing in the waters of the amber pool before attempting a new skill will ensure excellence no matter whether this skill it be a mental or a physical one. Okay, this is actually kind of leaning towards talking in terms of game mechanics. And the ruby pool bestows charismatic powers. No one may meet such a bather without experiencing immediate feelings of affection and friendship. Perhaps some or perhaps none of these stories are true. No one can be found who has ever set eyes on the rainbow ponds. This in itself may due to their enchanted nature. May be due to their enchanted nature. The pools are an oasis in the midst of a jungle of chaos, a nirvana which, once found, persuades any visitor to remain forever in awe of the beauty of the rainbow ponds. That sounds very Odyssey-esque. In Homer's The Odyssey, weren't there the Lotus Eaters or something like that? No, I don't remember what it was, but there was certain areas, or at least one area where the men would like kind of just be in awe of the flowers or something forever. The most recent stories of the Rainbow Ponds have this is Stiddle Woad is the section. The most recent stories of the Rainbow Ponds have caused great excitement among adventurers and explorers, for rumor has it that the ponds form part of the domain of the white-haired wood elves of Stiddle Woad. The elven village of Stiddle Woad, or Erin Durdenath in the Elvish tongue, is a mystery to outsiders. Protected by elven magic, no one may discover the village without an invitation from the elves themselves, and the elves will admit only those who swear to preserve the secret of its whereabouts. But one thing is for sure. Erin Durdenath is to be found deep within the forest of spiders, and is most probably close to the spectacular beauty of the rainbow ponds. Occasionally, one or two of the more adventurous young elves can be found outside the forest. Curious about the world beyond their treetop kingdom, they will roam abroad, sometimes coming into contact with other races, and very occasionally entering the cities of men. One such elf, known as Liha Falsehope, ventured as far as the town of Chalice, where he succumbed to the temptations that exist in such places. Stories spread of this mysterious, white-haired creature, whose manner was so delightful that the young women of Chalice would follow him wherever he went, tittering and offering their favors. The rowdy menfolk knew him as a regular with the town's drinking establishments. They watched in amazement as he entered and won every drinking contest in every inn. That's Arturo as well. I don't know if he's here, but that is describing him. At a street market, he once acquired a well-made mandolin. And within a short time, he was master of the instrument, delighting every audience with his amusing songs. Those elves are show-offs. As his status rose to that of a celebrity within Chalice, folk naturally inquired about his past. At first, he managed to remain true to his vow of silence. But this is the person who met the elves or something? This is about Aaron Durdeneth. I don't know if he was an elf, though. Yeah, I think he was a person who. Oh no, we're talking about Leha Falsehope, who was an elf. Okay. Leha Falsehope. When they give, give you a name like Falsehope, you know that you're probably not, I don't know, totally virtuous or a good
You
guy.
can't trust them.
Sorry?
You can't trust them.
Can't trust him. There you go. There are certain authors who like to give characters names like that that kind of imply what they're like, what their personality's like, or if they're bad guys. I think Dickens tends to do that. Charles Dickens. At first, he managed to remain true to his vow of silence, but this only caused rumors to circulate, not all of which were complimentary to Falsehope. Eventually, he was forced to reveal glimpses of his real past. His stories so enthralled his listeners, and each glimpse spread like wildfire as news around the town, that he was encouraged to tell more and more. Many of his stories he set to music, and even today his songs are known and sung by all the minstrels of Western Alansia. But finally, one night after far too much ale and maybe a little smoking weed, Leha Falsehope revealed more than he should have. In his drunken conversation with a young serving wench, he not only revealed that Erin Durdenath existed and could be found deep in the forest of spiders, but his loose tongue told the story of the vapors whose secret had hitherto been known only to his fellow elves. After he had finished telling the story to the wench and the large crowd of eavesdroppers who had gathered around him, Falsehope realized his folly. Desperately he tried to cover up his words, but this merely prompted more and more questions from the crowd. Hey, Stu asks what's a wench. uh, you can look it up. Serving like. Yeah, so this whole book, Stu, has an enormous intro. I'm like gonna spend a whole. I'm not gonna actually start the game until I'm like an hour into the stream at this point. Yeah. He tried to cover up his words, but this merely prompted more and more questions from the crowd. The question most asked was, "And what was the name of the village of yours?" For men find elven names difficult to pronounce. Falsehope searched quickly for a name that would throw them off track, and from somewhere deep in his memory, the name Stittlewode appeared. Stittlewode is in fact a particular type of dye used by elves to color their clothes. The young elf was devastated when the effects of the ale wore off and he realized what he had done. See, alcohol is the cause and the solution of all problems. The secrets of generations of wood elves had been revealed to all and sundry in a common inn. He left the town of Chalice and returned to his home in the forest of spiders, where he lived the rest of his days in disgrace. Until the day he died, he and his family were social outcasts in Erin Durdenath. Even today, the family of Erulia Falsehope, Leha's great-grandson, must bear the shame, which cannot be forgotten, of revealing the existence of what became known as the Vapors of Stittlewode. Stu says his internet is down, and he's tethering to his phone and not happy about. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, you're not going to be able to stream if you're tethering to your phone, I guess, right? You'll just have to watch my stupid stream. And Ryan said, aren't you guys supposed to get a big storm, Stu? Did it take you out here? Are we getting a storm here? What? I mean, I'm a little
I
bit.
didn't hear anything about that.
Yeah, I'm not exactly in the exact same. We're not in the exact same area as Stu, but we're not too far either. I don't see any storms in the forecast here. Anyway, high in the treetops of the forest, the elves are protected from harm. This is the title of this section, by the way, The Vapors of Stittlewode. This is partly due to their magical abilities and their keen eyesight, which is able to spot a likely intruder well in advance of their arrival. They have binoculars. But partly this is a protection bestowed on them as a special favor by their gods. The elves of Stillwoad believe themselves to be a chosen race, a belief which has a ring of truth to it. And excuse me, Stu says some guy from the power company came. He was there to change the electric meter. I let him do it, and the power went off for a minute. Then when it came back up, the internet didn't. Oh, that sucks, Stu. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully they can fix it soon. I'm assuming you screamed at them and they already told you they can't come until like Monday or something. After their creation, the gods were astonished at the natural grace and beauty of the white-haired elves they had brought to life. The early priests of Stillwoad were offered a bargain by their creators. The gods promised to watch over the elves and provide a good deal more protection than they afforded in their other creations. In return, each generation of elves undertook to choose an elf maiden to be groomed as the eventual queen to rule over Erin Durdeneth. Each future queen must be the most perfect child in the village, a maiden of stunning beauty, charming wit, and faultless grace. So we're talking about grooming children here. And on her 18th birthday, she had to undergo a celebratory ritual in which she would eventually commune with the gods. Ryan said, every news story said Northeast is getting heavy snow. Mark, are you really a spy in Beijing? Sure. I don't know. I didn't hear anything about it. I just looked up my own local weather and didn't see anything. I think I saw some rain like in the forecast in like 4 days or something. Well, all right, guys. We almost got through the intro, but I have to end the stream now. Just kidding. The communion represented the greatest honor which could be bestowed upon each generation. And the longer this communion lasted, the more the gods were. During the communion, great powers of wisdom and leadership were bestowed on the princess. Afterwards, she would be recognized as Queen of Erin Durdeneth. Within 4 seasons of her ascension to the throne, the queen would always give birth. Always? Such a birth was a religious affair, during which the queen was attended by her only by her priests. When the queen left her priests after the birth, she left alone. Only the priests and a handful of trusted villagers knew what actually happened at the birth, but all knew the result. No normal child was born to the queen. Instead, the gods gifted the queen with a benevolent spirit, a vapor, with a special power. Whichever god had been present at the elf princess's communion gave her vapor his special power, which was to be used wisely by. Oh my God, I don't know if I can take any more. All right, let's finish this paragraph, and I'm going to skim through the rest. The vapor was a special power, which was to be used wisely by her as queen. The vapor's birth ritual was unknown to all but the queen herself and her priests. But after birth, the vapor, safely stored in a glass flask, remained with the priests. The queen is able to call on her vapor only once during her reign, and even then only on one night of the year, known as the celestial equinox, when her god's constellation takes a certain position in relation to the other heavenly bodies. So Stu said he told them he would pay like 200 if they can fix it today, but they're gonna come tomorrow. Okay. I will gladly give you a hamburger. What is it? I'll pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. Uh, tale was the Zared and Mar heard from the wizard. This was the tale that Zared and Mar had heard from the wizard Hanukkah. He pressed for more information and was told that the present elf queen Etheles was reputed to have given birth to 3 vapors. And we have, I'm going to go a little faster. Etheles was beautiful, and so she had 33 vapors. Euthelial, the god of languages. Oh, these are the gods who helped with their communion. Euthelial, god of languages. Etisha, god of reason, and Alyarian, the god of elf magic. It was the last thing that seized Zaren's attention. For as powerful as magic was, it was the elves. That of the elves was equally powerful, and he wants to acquire that elven magic to be invincible or something. Okay, I'm gonna skip forward. Sorry, I just can't take this intro anymore.
You just start, I guess. I mean,
I'm gonna skim through and see if there's anything worth really
okay.
mentioning. Yeah, Hannekiss and drama. Blah, Mar was tiring of the wizard's ineptitude. Would he kill the wizard now or something? There's half elves involved. Galley keep. I mean, it's possible some of this is important, but I don't need to read a whole freaking novel here. All right, so where now this is his home. Where is his home? The galley keep. So Mar was basically waging war and stuff like that. Um, now this was his home. I'm not sure which is his home. And he had begun his search over the forest of spiders for the village of Stiddlewoad. Okay, looking for Stiddlewoad, that elven village. Those in the know are terrified at the thought of his success. Should he find Stiddlewoad in the secret of the vapors, then his mastery of sorcery will be invincible. Okay, so he's trying to find the elf village to be super powerful in magic, and it's a scary thought if he manages to be successful. Something about an army of birdmen. Birdmen. Um, Perhaps it is destiny that Zaradin Mar should rule these regions of Alancia. Only time will tell. This is the background of Creature of Havoc. Much of what you have read will be of little help to. Now it tells me. Some of the information may even lead you astray. I should have just skipped it. I thought maybe it would be important. Like maybe I wouldn't be able to play it very well without it. Oh well. As you will find when you start your adventure, you have only the faintest awareness of your surroundings, and your actions will be ruled by instincts. The instincts of the creature you are. Huh. I know, I totally got trolled. What is that? It's like here's 20 pages, quite literally. And it's like it's probably not important to read it. At the end it says that. Anyway, but gradually you'll develop more control over your destiny. As the adventure progresses, you'll be asking yourself the question that all must ask in life. Who am I? Where do I come from? Why am I here? The answers you find to these questions will depend on which path you choose as the creature of havoc. And I just, my phone video just froze. Okay. May your stamina never fail. Now turn over. Stitter, is it really Stitter Road with a lisp? Stitter Road? Wait, what did I say it was called? Oh, Woad. Stittle Woad. Oh, yeah. It's like Elmer Fudd saying it or something. Okay, so bear with me one moment. This is the thing that I have to do with this stand. This arm screw comes out once in a while. It comes loose, so I have to tighten that. I have to do it a few times over the course of the stream. Well, let's actually begin our adventure. Okay. Whew. So this is us, I guess. We are some sort of creature that was made by those witches, or made by that necromancer guy. We're a Frankenstein-like being. Frankenstein's monster is all I understand. And this is us looking at ourselves. I don't know. A look of terror streaks across the creature's face. I think that's a human being who's afraid of us. All right, paragraph 1. Here we go. The pain is unbearable, summoning up all your energy. You open your eyes, first one, then the other. They narrow to slits as they adjust themselves to the strain of trying to see once more, then relax as they make out familiar shapes in the dim light. A dirt floor, rocky walls. Then the pain takes over. Your head rocks. Your eyes submit and close tightly in an agonized grimace. Instinctively, you raise your hands to cup your face, and a low moan mingles with the rasping sound as your rough fingers rub the scaly skin above your eyes. After some time, the pain begins to ease. What are you guys talking about? The book has burn damage? Oh, yeah. They kind of adorned it with some stuff at the edge of the page that almost looked like burn damage. And Stu said it's because I sat on it. Yeah, that's exactly it. I didn't wipe very well when I sat on it, so. Um, Instinctively, you raise your hands to cup your face, and a low moan mingles with the read that part. As your rough fingers rub the scaly skin above your eyes, after some time the pain begins to ease. You open your eyes once more and peer out from between your gnarled fingers. You seem to be at the dead end of a passageway. Your surroundings are barely visible, but a dull glow. See what's happening. Come on. A dull glow is coming from the northern extent of the passageway, which stretches before you. A sound is also coming from this direction, of irregular breathing. Something alive is up there. You heave your great bulky body to its feet. Along your back the spines bristle. Swinging your heavy head slowly from side to side, your progress is decided. Northwards is the only option open to you. Muscles strain and succeed in raising a lumbering foot. Okay, so again. Which thuds loudly down on the ground in front of you. You repeat the action, first with one foot, then the other. Left foot, right foot. After 4 steps, the motion has become automatic. You are moving more quickly and more quietly up the passage. When you reach the end, your eyes are drawn to a huddle shape lying on the ground in front of you. A small figure lies on its side, facing away from you. It is shrouded in a dirty brown cape tied around its neck, and it lies in a puddle of thick red liquid. That doesn't sound good. Its body rises and falls irregularly with each breath. Some unidentified feeling swells within you. Is it anger, hate, fear, curiosity, hunger, or even sympathy? You bend down towards the little creature, uttering a meaningless grunt as you do so. The sound rouses the figure, which rolls slowly over to face you. The creature's dirty face is light-skinned, though barely visible under the thick hair which shades its closed eyes and almost totally obscures its mouth. From its chin, the hair rolls abundantly down its chest in a gray, unruly mass. Underneath the body, and now exposed by the creature's movement, is a sharp, shiny shaft, and this catches your attention. Stu says he didn't get the joke. I didn't get the joke. Oh well. Bum damage. Okay, got it. Bum damage. I thought it read burn. Yeah, I got bum damage. It had bum damage for me. As you stand there staring, the creature's eyes flick open. They focus on your bulky shape, and a look of terror streaks across the creature's face. In spite of its pain, it fumbles for and grasps the shiny shaft, pointing its pointed end out towards you and baring its teeth. It's gonna stab you with a dagger. The wounded dwarf you have found is evidently in need of help. I have choices. Okay, I thought it said I can't control myself or something, but I do have choices. Show him you mean no harm. Oh, sorry, the wounded dwarf you have found is evidently in need of help. Will you? Show him you mean no harm. Turn to 93. Try to talk to him. Turn to 364. Bring your foot heavily down on his neck. Turn to 185. What say ye, Rob Bob and friends in the chat? I'm not inclined to just step on his neck out of nowhere, but what do you
Yeah,
think, Rob? Maybe Arturo would tell me to do that, though, if he's here.
well, you can't talk really, probably.
You're probably right. It might be like you try to utter some words, but you're like, and of course Ryan's like Arturo too. He wants me to be cruel to everybody I encounter in every game. So Ryan says turn to 185 and bring my foot heavily down on his neck. I'm gonna go with Rob Bob's point was that if I try to talk, and I probably can't actually do it, so maybe I can show him I mean no harm by like gesturing accordingly. So I'm gonna go to 93. I'm assuming that's what it means, you know. I'm gonna be showing him I mean no harm in some kind of non-vocal manner. I think.
I don't know how you're gonna do that, but you might as well try, I guess.
You reach down with your hand to help him to his feet. But as you move, this little creature strikes and his sword cuts into your forearm. Ah, Ryan was right. Should have stepped on his neck. Luckily, the tough scales prevent it from doing any real harm, but you still must lose 2 stamina points. Considering your size in comparison to his action was understandable. No, it wasn't. What are you talking about? You don't just stab people because you're bigger, because they're bigger than you. So I have 14 stamina left. Now, instead of reaching for his arm, your hand opens and grips the dwarf's neck. Ryzen, see, I told you. Yeah, but you can't just go around killing everybody you see, and then ask questions later, right? You may be right once in a while, though. Now, let's see. Your hand opens and grips the dwarf's neck. You struggle to control your actions, but to no avail. Your sharp talons dig into the unfortunate creature's flesh. His eyes bulge and he tries to scream. Frantically hits you with the sword again, but the blow lacks power. Deduct 1 more stamina point. Oh, then his body goes limp. Alright, so we got 13 stamina left. Jeez. Try not to step on people's necks by default, and this is the thanks the book gives me. Ryan says I was raised on 80s action films. That's what you do. And Stu says I once killed Ryan and asked questions later. Your tremendous strength put the poor creature out of its misery, but the incident had left you feeling very strange. Although you wished to help the dwarf, you have helped him only to an early grave. Will you put these thoughts out of your mind and try to leave the area? Turn to 248. Will you try to hide the body? Turn to 218. Or will you examine the body? Turn to 399. Might as well
Maybe
check
he
it
has
out,
some
right?
stuff on him. I think you should examine it.
Yeah, let's active standard role-playing game characters and search the
Well,
body for free stuff.
yeah. Could have food
Yeah, maybe I can eat him.
with that.
Maybe I can make some dwarf chops. I am a monster after all. Might not be out of line to do that. Anyway, we're down here, 399. And Stu says search him. Yep. And if you're caught, you can say you're looking for his asthma medicine. Yeah, maybe that'll do it. Or any kind of prescription. Maybe I need my insulin. Your hands relax and the sharp claws retract into your fingers. Okay, I have retractable claws, I just learned. You clumsily fumble through the dwarf's dirty vestments. Your fingers will not fit into the pockets, but you do succeed in snapping his thongs of a large leather pouch which the creature has around its waist. As the ties break, the pouch spills its contents on the ground in front of you. It contains several circular pieces of shiny metal and a piece of hide, which unfolds as it drops out of the pouch. It is light in color and has markings all over one side. You pick it up awkwardly and look at it, but it makes no sense at all. Okay. You become quite fascinated by this piece of leather. You turn it round, rub it with your hand, and throw it in the air. You place it on your arm and on your head. You decide to take the leather with you. Unknown to you, the message on the hide may be useful later in your adventure. Okay. Turn to 337 to examine the message. If you are carrying this piece of hide, you may return to 337 at any time to re-examine it, but you will need to remember the reference. I'll write it down. You have come from in order to, got it, to return and continue. Okay, so I have a leather piece with message. Piece of leather with message.
Okay, that's good.
I guess so. It's probably for solving some puzzle or something down the line.
Probably better than just walking away.
Yeah. All right, so let's check it out now. We can do it right now. 337. I'm assuming it's not going to be completely clear, otherwise it would be the point of returning to it. Okay, it's not clear at all. I'll show you what I'm seeing in a moment. You can see it right now, actually. As I'm folding the book. It says, Svigen verbird apfo yipferd. Yipva buff epfine. Okay, you got the idea. Yeah, so this is some kind of encoded message, obviously, or just random garbage. Um, So Stu says this protagonist is weird. Yeah, you're basically a monster like Frankenstein's monster, and you're just waking up to life, and you don't know what the hell's going on. You're just kind of following your instincts. So this could just be I don't know the language. It's probably what it means.
Probably in like Dwarvish or something.
Yeah, it could be. Underneath this, oh shoot, sorry. Underneath this writing is more, but written in a different style. Vib, blah 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 blah. Okay. Well, if it's a simple cryptogram, you can take a screenshot, Stu, and solve it for me while I'm playing.
It's probably cheating, but
I
could
don't
do.
think it's a simple cryptogram. It could be.
Yeah.
This part is in
So
all caps, by the way. This part is in
if
italics.
you look at the there's more than two words that have one letter,
More than two
so it's
words.
probably not that.
In other words, T is a word with one letter. C
An
is a word with
A
one
and
letter.
C
A.
and
Okay, I see what you're
J.
getting at. Because usually you can start with that and assume that there's just one of them is A and one of them is I,
Yeah.
right? Okay. And it says it's a different style at the bottom here. And I think that's the
It's
end of it.
probably just random letters.
Yeah. So now we're going to go back to 399. Well, I mean, maybe there's some kind of
Or maybe it's more
translation to it.
complicated than that.
Yes, maybe it's just more complicated than a regular cryptogram. But it could be that it's not just gibberish. There is some translation we can do, perhaps. Anyway, as you may have realized by now, this is going back to the previous paragraph, your own wishes have little effect on your reactions as a creature. You have only glimpses of what you are like and what you are capable of. Although this will change as the adventure progresses, at this stage you are at the mercy of your own whims and instincts. You are standing at a junction where you may go either east or west. Roll one die if you roll one, two, or three. I go east or west depending on if I roll one, two, three, or four, five, six. I'm wondering if I should start mapping now. It's kind of hard to do so, but I'm gonna try anyway. So I'll just start in the center. This is start with dwarf, and I can go east or west. Let's see what I roll. Actually, I don't even know which way I'm going until I turn to the paragraph. 4 is to go to 148. So another paragraph just skimming through that had that kind of gibberish for what it's worth. 148. You decide to follow the passage east to your right. Your first steps are slow as you take in the encounter with the dwarf. Right, so I'm going east. I'm just drawing a crude map here. After a few paces, the corridor turns north. You approach a stout wooden door and must make a decision. Will you smash the door from its hinges and continue? Or will you give up on this route and return to the dwarf's corpse? And I'm at the mercy. I can't. I was able to decide one thing, like how I wanted to deal with the dwarf, but then I was like, now it's like every choice is random. So, but it does say later on in the game it won't be random anymore. So I guess for now I'm at the mercy of these dice. But if I roll a 1 or 2, I go to 419. 3 to 6, I go to 72. Alright, I'm going to 72. I don't know which one that is. 72. It looks like I'm hitting the door. With one hand, you swat the door. The force is great, and your fist succeeds at cracking the wood. But the door does not open, and your anger rises. Arrgh! A sound stirs within the room. You listen carefully and can hear heavy breathing coming from within. Another dwarf who's going to stab me, mixed with a shuffling sound, as if something were slowly moving around. A growl, deep and low, comes from your throat. Fire bad! Will you risk facing whatever is beyond the door, or will you try the safer route back past the dwarf? Roll one die. This is kind of weird. I don't get to choose. Okay, I'm going to 170 as is most most of the time. You can see only the result of one would take me to 419. I'm assuming this is going to be like fighting the monster as opposed to retreating, fighting the whatever it is, but I'm not sure. Yep, we're fighting something. Fury builds up within you. You step back and with a loud roar, you charge into the door. I have slain the door. I am a mighty warrior. The hinges crack and are ripped off as the door crashes inwards. There is no furniture or decoration in the cave that greets your eyes. There is a seat carved out of the stone, but the room is clearly the dwelling of a captive or slave. Your eyes then switch to the room's inhabitant, and your reaction is swift. Rah! Claw beast. Wow, you gotta trim those things. Look at that. They're like elephant tusks or something.
Needs a nail cutter.
Yeah, clip those things.
Nail clipper.
The huge claw beast whose peace you have disturbed slashes at you with its deadly talons. Okay, they're talons to be fair, not claws. Why is it not called a talon beast? Ryan said the claw beast sounds like a He-Man villain. That's true. Like Beast Man. Or, what's that guy? Trapjaw? I don't know my He-Man guys too well. You lurch back and avoid the creature's onslaught, but its attack serves only to fuel your rage. Your own sharp claws slide out, and you turn to the claw beast. Resolve this combat. Skill 9, stamina 14. Okay. Let me get another piece of paper for the various battles that are probably going to ensue. So what we got is our skill is 11, thankfully. And our stamina is not that great, though. It's 13 at the moment. So we have a nice edge, though, on skill. So Claw Beast. Skill 9. Stamina, what was it? 14. And me. Skill 11. Stamina, I think 13 right now. Let's verify that. Yep, 13. Alright, I mean, we should be okay, I think. And also remember, if we roll doubles, because we're a mighty beast or whatever, then we automatically win. It's an insta-kill. So I'm going to get some black dice to represent the beast. All the enemies, I guess, can be the black dice. And I will use the white dice for my character. And let's roll mine first, I guess, because if I roll doubles, that's it. We win. No doubles, but the total is 9 plus 11, which is 20. Versus the Claw Beast got 9 plus 9, which is 18, so I win the first round and I deal 2 damage. It has 12 stamina. Let's repeat. 7 plus 11 is 18 versus 9 plus... Ooh, it beat me by 1, unfortunately. Yeah, because it got a 19. Okay, so I'm going to take 1 stamina. I only take 1 stamina and they take 2 because I have an awesome monstrous hide or something like that. Sorry about the little bit much glare on the paper, unfortunately, but that's life. And Ryan said, I used to love the smell of my Moss Man and Skunkor. Are those He-Man villains? Of course, the chemicals in those toys were probably carcinogenic. Yeah, I would think so. You're probably dead right now and you don't even know it. All right, so next up, yeah, next round, let's get some doubles in here. 9 plus 11 is 20. And they get 10 plus 9 is 19, so I win just barely. But by how much you win in Fighting Fantasy doesn't really matter. I deal 2 damage. I got 11 plus 3 is 14 versus, yeah, he got 18, so he did 1 damage to me. I'm gonna have to eat one of these provisions in a moment. It heals me by 4. And that's okay, I got 10 of them. I rolled an 8 plus 11 is 19. Claw Beast rolls 18 altogether. What did I say I had? 19? I have 18. No, 19. Yeah, 19. So I win by 1. He takes 2 damage. Let's speed it up and roll all the dice at once. Okay, I win that. I can automatically see off the bat, right? Since my skill is higher by 2. If I win by more than 2, then I win the round. Okay, I won by Actually, I don't have to win by more than. I have to win by. If I win by two altogether, then it's high. So if I roll higher, I can always just know off the bat I won though, before I have to think any harder than that. But in this case, I won by just one because you can see my roll was one lower. Oh, they got a 12
What?
versus.
It's probably
So,
no
so,
damage.
sorry.
No, never mind.
So they got a 21 versus our 18, so they dealt the damage to me. I'm getting clawed up by this thing. Yeah, so Ryan says he likes the white dice. These are a recent birthday present. I just kind of added them on my wish list, and my wife picked them up for me. Actually, my daughter gave them to me, so we'll say it's from her. I like it because they have this little bit of a. It's not just pure white. You can see it has a little bit of a kind of a like a tannish swirliness to it. It's pretty cool. Next up, I win that round. It's down to two. Next hit will finish it off. No doubles yet over the course of all these combat rounds. And that one we tied, I believe, because he beat me on the die rolls by two, so that should be a tie. Uh, what does that mean? We both hurt each other, or is it no damage? Let me just check in the rules quick. I'd rather it be a no damage, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what the rules say. You've avoided each other's blows. All right, so we're cool. Nobody hurt each other. We just dodged each other's blows. And that means just one more to go, hopefully. Well, hopefully. All right, we tied again. They rolled an 8, which is, again, 2 higher than my 6, so we tied again. I'm trying to go for the coup de grace, but he's, like, evading all my attempts. But now I have finished him off, and I have pulled off his head, and now I am holding it high up as a trophy or something. I just made that up, but we are victorious. And let's eat a provision now that the combat is over. I think I can do that now, because I got knocked down to 10, but eating a provision heals me for 4, so I'm back up to 14. And I have to cross off 1 provision, so I have 9 provisions left. I mean, they're there to be used, and they give you 10 of them, so I might as well use them. Okay, Claw Beast is defeated. If you defeat the creature, turn to 389. And Ryan says, do you own more sets of dice or me deck of cards? Oh, uh, I think you probably have more decks of cards than I have dice. Sets of dice. I only started collecting these sets of dice. They're made by ChessX, by the way, like maybe like 5 years ago or so. And I have probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 sets, maybe 8. But I do have some dice from my childhood, like all various polyhedral dice, like from my D&D days and stuff like that. Mostly these days I play games that just use six-sided dice, so I don't know. I kind of like the ChessX dice. They have cool styles to them. You can look them up on like Amazon or something, or probably on their own website. They have different sizes and obviously different color patterns. I always get these. I forget how many millimeters this, but this is like the larger of the two. They have one that's like I think 12 millimeters, and this is 16, perhaps. I usually go for this 16, and then each set has 12 of them. And Ryan says there was a He-Man figure called Clawful. Clawful. All right, so what are we doing here? Your foe is defeated, and you feel justifiably proud. Your gaze passes from the dead creature to its lair. But there is nothing of interest, and the sickening stench of Claw Beast makes you want to leave quickly. But I actually ate a meal first, so I was like, it's really disgusting in here. But let me eat some food so I feel better. All these talon scratches are really annoying me. There are 3 ways onward. The passage behind you, a cave entrance in the western wall, and another in the northern wall. This is so weird that I can't choose where I'm going. In a way, it's liberating, though, because I don't have to think about it. Like, wherever the die takes me. So here we go. The die says to go to 230. And you can tell the die rolls are usually weighted. I think it tends to weight you towards moving forward rather than reversing direction. I mean, because nobody would want to be reversing direction all the time. But let's go to 230 and see what it says. Lawful. This is kind of funny because if you look, this is not the paragraph I'm at, but if you peek it up a little bit, there's somebody named 11 that you have to fight. And of course, that's the girl from Stranger Things. I don't know what 11 is in this context, but I'm not gonna read any more about that. Sue and Ryan are talking about 80s toys. Sue says someone stole all my Transformers. They disappeared. The He-Man figures I gave to my nephew. That thinks that somebody stole them. I should have a big, like a really large Ziploc bag, just all full of like Ninja Turtle toys. I had a few Transformers, but not a giant collection. And I never got He-Man or G.I. Joe. I think I have a couple Thundercats. Your vengeance on the Claw Beast is not yet complete. You must satisfy your lust for the spoils of victory. Oh, I ate a provision, but I can eat him too. You kneel by its side and feast on the flesh of your victim. Oh, why am I eating provisions when I could be eating my victims? Well, this is actually perfect. You may add 2 stamina points for the meal. It's perfect because I had healed up to 14, as you can see here, and now I am back up to my natural 16 from eating the flesh of my enemies. It's good to know that you can eat them. Alright, now you turn to 165. Claw Beast. Roll 1 die. Gotta do something about this arm on this stand. It always comes loose. The screw keeps coming loose. Maybe I need a new one. Or I have to repair the thread or something. I don't know. Hopefully it's not that complicated. Anyway, roll 1 die, and it's 1 to 3. If you roll 1 to 3, you decide to head north into the wide cave entrance ahead of you. If you roll a 4 to 6, you take the narrow cave entrance which leads to the west. Okay, and we roll a 2, so we're going to the wide cave entrance ahead. I'm going to try to draw my crappy map here. This is where I found the Claw Beast. What is there, something to the west? Yeah. So there's a west narrow cave entrance or a wide cave entrance. I don't know. This will be the wide cave entrance. Cave entrance. Another cave entrance here. This one's narrow. Okay. Here's my chicken scratch map. We're going to 408. Ooh, the working microscope. Perceptor. That's pretty cool. I was just happy the day I got Optimus Prime when I was a kid. Because he was cool. You know, vampires are cool people. Anybody know that reference? From recent events, recent current events. The cave leads north to a large tunnel in the rock which runs from east to west. Sorry, I'm thinking about this. Okay, so I'm going north until like a T intersection kind of a thing. It is large enough for you to walk along. Roll 1 die. This is crazy. I don't get to choose anything. In a way, in a way, it's liberating, but also I'm like, what is it? I can't control where I go. Okay, I'm going west to 282, so I guess I'm going to draw it like this. And there was an east. Okay. 282. Oh, you had Megatrons too. He turned into a gun, right? They would have to have the orange stripe on the barrel these days. Actually, is that just my state, New York, or is that everywhere? And in New York State, I think you have to have an orange coloring on the barrel. of any toy gun, so that way it's not mistaken for a real gun. Now, I'm wondering if anybody would actually mistake Megatron for a real gun. Anyway, the walls of the tunnel become damp and glisten in the odd half-light. You follow the passage until you reach a point where it turns sharply southward. Okay. One of the problems when you try to map something like this is you don't know how far you're traveling, right? So I'm over here now, and I know this is crappily drawn, but I don't know if I should be drawing this west corridor like all the way over to here, but it's turning southward. So it looks like it's going to turn, to me, it looks like it's going to turn right back to where I started with the dwarf corpse. But I'm not really sure. I'm not sure how far I should draw it. Turn sharply southwards. It's an awesome gun. Continuing around the corner, Walther PPK. Not familiar with that. Around the corner, you find that the light has now almost totally faded, and you must feel your way along the wall. Several paces down the slimy corridor, you reach a dead end. Oh man. The wall is rocky and pocked with many nooks and crannies. There is also a musty smell in the air of animal decay. Perhaps simply dead rats, or maybe the remains of something large. Sorry, I got this red line on my screen. There we go. Something larger. Around your feet there are several loose stones. At least you assume they are stones, but some are too long, thin, and brittle to be shards of rock. Your groping hand touches a length of rope, which may be a clue to a way out of this dead end. Let me draw this dead end.
Good thing you know what rope is
Yeah, good thing I know what rope
somehow.
is. I mean, I guess it would get ridiculous if they tried to, explain
Yeah.
every little thing like you're an infant. There is a fibrous blah blah blah. How do you know what fibers are? Anyway, will you pull it? Roll one die. If the result is 1 to 3, you close your hand around the rope and pull it out towards you. Turn to 99. If you roll 4 to 6, you ignore the rope, turn around, and follow the corridor back the way you came, continuing straight on past the Claw Beast's cave. If you wish, you may, before rolling the die, decide to test your luck. If you're lucky, you may choose which of the options you will opt for, but if you're unlucky, you must roll the die the normal way. So it seems like I probably want to go forward because otherwise I have to go back beyond where I started with the dwarf and then go west here. So I feel like maybe I should use the luck. It's giving me the opportunity to kind of, force myself to pull the ropes. I'm assuming it's something I want to do. I mean, it could be totally wrong. And Stu says, "Wow, you have no choices." Yeah, they claim that as you progress further, you'll get more and more as you're, I don't know, you become more sentient or in control of yourself or something like that. Maybe this is the first hint of that actually happening because now I have a chance of making a luck roll to make it happen, to make a voluntary choice. So I'll try the luck roll because I want to pull the rope, and they're only giving me a 50-50 chance here, right? If they were giving me like a 5 and 6 chance to pull the rope, then maybe I would just go with that. But they're giving me just 50-50. So let's do that. We're going to make a luck roll, and our luck is 11, so we need 11 or less, which is not bad at all. Okay, we made the luck roll, but that subtracts 1 from our luck, unfortunately, because every time you test your luck, as it's called, you have to do that. So we're pulling the rope, and now it's going to be like, oh, you just triggered a trap and a bunch of rocks fall on your head or something. And I'll be like, oh, I spent luck to do that. All right, so we're going to paragraph 99. Exactly what I said is true, except it's not rocks. It's spears. All right, here we are.
Even better.
Yeah. Angry and frustrated, you snatch the rope and jerk it towards yourself. It offered little resistance, although the faint click you hear would have warned an astute human adventurer. It was caused by the hair trigger springing on the deadly trap, which has now taken you by surprise. The trigger has released razor-edged spears from the 2 side walls. Even your tough, scaly skin cannot defend you against them, and your body is riddled with a dozen spears. I'm dead? I'm just dead? It's dead. This is bullshit.
You dead?
Excuse my language. As quickly as they appear, the spears slide neatly out of your lifeless body and disappear back into the wall. You slump to the ground. Eventually, your blood will dry, and your flesh will decompose like that of the previous victims of the Dark Elf's grim death spear trap. All right, guys, half hour of reading the intro, and then I fell into a spear trap. Good night. Just kidding. It depends. How do we want to cheat? We could literally start over from the beginning. We could just say I went the other way with my luck roll. I'm gonna do that. I went the other way. That was me closing my laptop, by the way, not trying to point the camera at my crotch. So sorry if it looked like that. Uh, so I had to find the paragraph that was a problem. Let me rewind my preview in the YouTube console, see if I can find the paragraph number. Yeah, I had the choice to make the luck roll, but I didn't have any hint that the rope would kill me. You know what I mean?
You should have just picked the other option, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going back in time and doing that. I'm cheating. Um, but let me see. I'm looking up the paragraph in my by rewinding. Yeah, so we're gonna go to three. Fortunately, I have the arm of the stand right in the way of the paragraph number, but I think it's 372. Stu is aghast right now. He's like, "You died and you had no choice." Pretty much, Stu. Hold on, I think
You
I got
didn't
the wrong
even
part.
get to like make a saving roll if you live or not.
No, no, no. They didn't give you that
You
chance, or
just
just like,
die.
yeah, or even like fight something, even if it's tough. Anyway, sorry, I'm gonna keep trying to find the paragraph. I got it wrong. I think I can find it though. I'm going to 282. It looks like. Okay. Yeah, that's where I could make the choice. And now I can go to 372. I thought that's what I just looked at and didn't look like it made sense. All right, whatever. Passage heads east. How could it go east? I gotta say, this is supposedly one of the best fighting fantasy games, but that moment doesn't fill me with confidence in that claim. But sometimes, you always have to put it in context. This is just how game books were in the 80s. This is from 86, I believe. So it could be really good, but there's a little bit of BS stuff like that too that you just have to roll with and cheat as you feel fit, as you feel as you deem to be okay, I guess. But yeah, here we are. Now what I'm confused by though is it says the passage heads east, and if you look at my map, um it's not a brilliantly drawn map for sure, but this is where I started with the dwarf, and I was able to go west or east at the beginning, and I wound up going east up through this cave passage and west to the dead end with the trap right here, spear trap. And what I don't understand is it told me to go back past the dwarf corpse over here to the west corridor, but now it's saying I go east. So the passage heads east, it says. That makes me think I'm interpreting something wrong. That's the only thing. Like, what mistake am I making? Maybe they have the mistake, but it definitely said go past the dwarf corpse, right? Let's just read it. The passage heads east. The rough stone floor begins to feel different underfoot, and you look down to see that it has been laid with flat stones of irregular sizes. The light seems to be better, although with a definite bluish tint. You you look up to see blue glowstones in the ceiling lighting your way. That's convenient. Mysteriously, their glow appears only as you approach. So it's like motion detector. That's like those light sensing, those lights that have motion sensors. Hope so. Uh, when you look behind you, you see the light is faded. There are a number of crevices, and small passages lead off from the main one, but you ignore these as they are far too narrow for you to enter. A sound from ahead catches your attention. The soft thump of something landing on the ground. Further on, you discover that it was a tied up sack. Something inside the sack is struggling but cannot get out. In size, the lump is similar to the dwarf you killed earlier. Will you investigate the sack or continue along the passageway? So yeah, it's saying it leads east even though it's heading west. So I'm just going to keep drawing it to the west, I guess. Um, and so if I roll a 1 to 4, I'm going to stop and investigate the sack. 5 or 6, I ignore it. I am ignoring the sack. Oh man, I want to like see what's in the sack and kill it and eat it. Okay, I'm ignoring it. I'm going to 440. Your curiosity has been aroused, but not captured by the creature swarming in the sack. You give it a heavy kick as you pass and send it scuttling across the floor. Whatever is inside squeals for mercy, but falls silent after colliding painfully with the stony wall. You continue past it along the passage, your way still lit by eerie blue glowstones. Suddenly you hear a footstep. You stop to listen hard. A shape forms in the passageway before you. Turn to 63. I'm going to write creature and sack on the map. Creature, sack. Okay, there's a shape in the passage before me. 63. Looks like some elf guy. He did not look happy. Wondering if he looks kind of like the Warlock of Firetop Mountain. Let me see if I compare and contrast. Let's see. Hmm. 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 That's Zagor. I think it's Zagor right here. Got the Widow's Peak and everything. That's Zagor. Probably just means the same artist likes to draw elves that way or something. But I think it might be Zagor from the Warlock of Firetop Mountain. Okay. Standing before you is a tall, thin figure. It is dark and humanoid in appearance, although you cannot make out much in the dim light. You can, however, clearly make out two large green eyes. The figure is shrouded in a brightly colored cape, and its hair is gathered on top of its head in a tight knot. It steps forward towards you and flings its cape back to reveal its left hand, which grips a short bow. What's it going to shoot me at point blank range? Reaching over its back, I guess so. Well, maybe it's not exactly right in my face. Anyway, it draws an arrow from a quiver, aims at you, and shoots you in the shoulder. Lose 2 stamina points. You howl with pain and turn towards the bowman, baring your teeth. Let me subtract my 2 stamina. 14 is now what I have. You howl with pain and turn towards the bowman, baring your teeth. But he has yet another arrow poised to fire. The second arrow rips into your forearm with such force that it comes out the other side and clatters off the wall behind. Lose another 2 stamina. Tell me that's full damage at once. Your fury is now uncontrollable. Will you unsheath your claws and advance on your attacker, or will you retreat from this deadly foe? Roll 1 die. If you roll 1 to 4, you are so enraged that you blunder ahead towards the dark elf bowman without a thought of the danger. If you roll a 5 or 6, fear for your life takes over from your anger and you retreat, turn to 260. You may test your luck if you wish, but you must do so before you roll the die. I'm just gonna let the dice tell me what to do. I had one GoBot. It was like a plane. It was like a grayish plane, I think, or maybe blue. Was it blue or gray? I don't remember. I think it was a bluish plane. GoBots were the wannabe Transformers, in case you didn't know, Rob Bob. Okay,
Hmm.
let's see what I do. 1 to 4, I'm going to attack. 5 to 6, I retreat. 1, I'm attacking. I'm going to charge the stupid bowman. I feel like, unless the game is BS, which it could totally be, I should be able to charge him and beat him in a melee combat, even if he gets off another arrow or 2. But I don't know, the game can be BS, obviously, so we'll see. Oh, come on. Alright. So I'm dead basically. But even in the paragraph before it tells me I'm dead, it says to lose 3 stamina points. Like why are you making me do this? Like why say okay, you take some damage, but then you're just dead by the way. Here we go. You storm ahead up the passageway towards the dark elf, roaring loudly with claws ready to strike, but the elf does not budge. He merely notches another arrow and looses it towards you. This time the arrow sinks deep into your stomach and you clutch at the wound. Lose 3 stamina points. Tears of pain flood your eyes, but you will not hold back. Again you advance, and again the elf notches its arrow, but this time the bowman's aim is true. The arrow is fired higher at your face. Before you have time to react, his shaft has pierced your eye and lodged into your brain. Mercifully, your death is instantaneous. I guess I had to use my luck um, to make a choice. I couldn't make a choice. Ah, that painful. Okay. Now what? I guess I'm gonna go back, start over. Okay, I'm gonna pretend I rolled a retreat. I guess if I can remember which paragraph. Let's see what the retreat choice was. Stu says, Mark, I hate to say it, but this is not a good game. But so many people say this is like the best fighting fantasy. I'm so puzzled. You don't have choices, and there's always insta deaths. Sometimes you have choices, but you have to make a luck roll to even be able to make a choice. It might be. I'm hoping that as long as you stick it out, it becomes awesome. I don't know. Uh, Maybe just in a storytelling kind of way, if you don't mind the insta deaths that happen. But let's see, where is this crap? 63. I didn't decode the. Yeah, I'm supposed to decode the hidden message, and it says, um, don't it says remember to drink your Ovaltine or something like that. What was the message in the Christmas story? Remember to drink your Ovaltine. All right, so
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna.
think it was that.
Okay, so here's the stupid elf. It's gonna insta kill me, but I'm gonna pretend I roll a 5 or 6 and I retreat for my life at 260. It's probably gonna shoot me in the back and do another 2 stamina or something. You kidding me? The retreat is insta death. You just can't go to this elf. All right, let's read it over. What am I hearing? An echo robot?
It's my noise suppression not working.
Your noise suppression not working. Okay. Some inner instinct of self-preservation takes over from your fury and tells you that this elf bowman is not to be trifled with. You turn from him and speed back down the corridor. However, you manage no more than 5 steps before you realize that your attempts to escape are futile. Ahead of you, 4 more dark elves bar the passageway, all with bows drawn and aimed at your chest. You are confused. Which way should you turn? But your confusion is short lived. At a signal from their leader, arrows zing from all 4 bows. Their aim is good. 3 of the 4 shafts pierce your heart. But as I'm dying, I say, ha! One of you missed! Yeah, so why not just make that whole elf encounter say, the elves kill you? Like, why make me go through these several steps and
Doesn't seem
options?
very good.
Okay.
Seems like he's trying to. Whoever wrote this is trying to kill you.
And again, that is a thing that happens more in the 80s, but like,
Mm.
there's instant deaths and things, but it seems particularly pointless. It's like instead of just saying you run into elves and they kill you, it's like they give you several steps to die in different ways and actually think about things like making luck rolls, but it's all the same. So Steve says this is terrible, and Ryan says the game book, the Sonic game book was way better. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go back in time to the dwarf when I'm facing the dwarf. In other words, I'm gonna reset, except I'm gonna actually not re-roll my stats, but I'm going back to the beginning essentially. I figure I don't want to just kill the stream here, right? Let's play it a little bit more. It's gotta get better if you can just deal with this initial BS, perhaps, maybe. Um, Sorry, let me switch the windows around. I try to be optimistic. If there's a lot of people who say, this is one of the best fighting fantasy books, or even the best fighting fantasy. Must be something to it, because I know other fighting fantasy books. They have instant deaths here and there, but they can be really fun. But let me try to remember where. I guess I'm going to the first paragraph here, and I'm going to listen to Ryan's choice from before. I'm just going to bring my foot heavily on his neck. 185. So we're back at the beginning with the dwarf. Oh, look at this. You can get hurt. He's going to stab me too. Let's see how this happens. Let's see how this plays out. The little creature screams in horror as you raise your foot over his head. And look, it is saying something. I wonder if that's the same language as that little piece of leather. But it says, live, fem, fem, live. It squeals as it swings the sharp sword in its hand towards your leg. But the blow is weak and glances off your tough scales. You feel nothing. A second later, you are looking down with mixed feelings at the lifeless form of the dwarf. Will you examine the body? Attempt to hide the body down the passageway? Why do I want to hide the body though? Like, does anybody care? Everybody's killing each other violently on sight. Anyway, I'm gonna just say I examine again, and then I'll get that piece of leather because I feel like that's probably important to get. So 399, which we've already been to. Yeah, so the same deal, and I don't need to examine the message again. But now let's roll one die to see which way I go. To be clear, if I go west, does that just mean I face the elves and I'm dead? So last time I rolled which one? I don't remember which one was it. Let me take a look. I think 148 is the friggin' elf. No, 148 is going east like I did the first time. So 308 is going west instead. Huh. That's different. I don't understand. Which way did I... When I found... I'm sorry about this bad camera work right now. But I'm just really confused because... Let me show my map and I'll explain. It's possible I'm missing something and I made an error.
You
But...
like go to the wrong paragraph or something? Maybe.
Maybe. What I was told was when I was here, this is where the spear trap is. I know this is a horrible map, and my drawing and writing sucks, but this is where I died in the spear trap, and then I kind of undid that, and it told me I can go back past the dwarf corpse, which I thought meant going west here, but then it said something about the passage going east, and now I peeked and looked at the paragraph for going west, and it's not the elf, so, or the creature in the sack, so. I don't know, but I'm gonna say that I'm gonna erase this because I'm very confused about the layout, and I'm gonna say I roll to go west. How about? Well, there's actually other options when you go east. Though, look, you can go to this narrow passage for the cape, and you can also go east up here. So let me just let the dice tell me where to go as usual. So we're going to. I lost my page. Bring the foot heavily down his neck, and then we examine the body. 399, and then yeah. Now we're just gonna roll the die fairly. We're gonna play it by the book at this point. Okay, let's see what I roll. Oh, sorry, I have my, adjust that. Okay, there we go. And we got a 6, which is again going east, I believe. 308. Oh no, it's 148. And this is the wooden door. And the question is, do I smash the wooden door or give up this route and go return to the dwarf's corpse? Two. I don't think that's what I rolled last time. I think I rolled 3 to 6. 2 is to go to 419. I think that might be going back to the dwarf's corpse. You shift your weight and turn your great bulk around. With labored steps, you stomp back the way you came and past the lifeless body. Go to 308. This is that freaking sack now. it's something different. 308. You travel west along a twisting passageway. Several times you bump clumsily into the walls and grunt in annoyance, but your tough scales protect you from damage. The temperature drops noticeably, and each breath sends steamy snorts from your nostrils. After narrowing slightly, the passage widens as it leads towards a chamber. A sound from ahead and a flickering light warn you to take care. But rather than making you stop to listen, the prospect of an encounter seems to excite you. You bare your teeth in your claws and stride forward into the chamber. Turn to 205, and this better not be the elf. Alright, so I'm drawing this westward passage that opens up a bit into a chamber or something.
Gonna be like you come across four elves, they all shoot you in the head.
But only three of them hit your heart. Oh, I found a hobbit. Cool, let's kill this hobbit. Roaring like an enraged demon, you rush into the open chamber, ready to take on whatever's inside. Terrified shrieks come from the small party of adventurers. Now it's like I'm the bad guy in like a typical kind of fantasy RPG now. It's just this party of adventurers, and then I come rushing in as the monster, just ready to eat them. Yeah, small party of adventurers huddling around a makeshift campfire in the center of the area. Three figures are warming themselves by the fire. One wears shiny clothes that clink as he moves. Another is dressed in red and also grows long dark hair from his chin. The third is a tiny creature with polished hide on his chest. He has no hair on his chin but has plenty on his feet, which he has been holding up to warm at the fire. Your eyes fix on the smallest of the three. I really want to kill this hobbit. And Stu says suddenly a bolt of lightning comes from the sky and hits you mercifully. You die instantly. P.S. No refunds. Anyway, yeah, this is me learning what a hobbit is and stuff like that. Your eyes fix on the smallest of the three. Your breathing gets heavier, and a feeling of pure hatred grips you. Without hesitating, you stomp across and grab the miserable hobbit with your claw. Oh, poor hobbit! The other two are caught off balance and are slow to react. The hobbit has no weapon and should be an easy victim. Oh man. I don't know why I'm feeling guilty about killing this hobbit, but here we are. Let's fight the hobbit. Yeah, skill 5, stamina 6. This should be easy. Skill 5 is it's no match. Hobbit. Skill 5, stamina 6. Alright, let's just roll it. I mean, it doesn't stand a chance really, but I'll roll all 4 dice at once, and again, if I roll doubles, I insta-kill it. Nasty hobbitses. I got 10 to 8 before even figuring in the skill, so once you figure in the skill, I beat it by, what? Well, it has skill 5 versus my 11, so it's like adding an extra 6. So I beat it by 8, essentially. It has stamina 4
You
now.
did. Oh no, it only goes down by 2.
Right. This time, yeah, by the natural rolling, I won again, so it's not even a point of doing the math. And this time we tied as far as the die rolls, but again, my extra skill means I killed that stupid fat hobbits. Stupid fat hobbits. Okay. Oh, if you defeat the creature in 3 straight attack rounds, turn to 160. I did, yes. If it takes longer than 3 rounds, turn to 86. Okay, so I think he's mostly, you're supposed to automatically kill him essentially, but it's a matter of do you take so long that probably the other two guys are able to, join the fray. But I think I killed him too fast. Killed this hobbit too fast. 160. Delicious hobbits. As the creature dies, you sink your teeth into its arm to taste its juicy flesh. Then you remember the other two adventurers. The red-robed figure, I guess it's a mage, is facing you, pointing the little finger of each hand at you. and mumbling. Yeah, it's gonna cast a spell at me. I better take care of him. The shiny human, he's probably like a warrior, knight or something. The shiny human has grabbed a sword, similar, you remember, to the dwarf, but larger, and is shouting to the other. You can't fight both at once. Which will you direct your attention to? Test your luck. If you're lucky, turn to 292. If you're unlucky, turn to 48. Okay. So is it to
I
see if I
bet
make.
that's if you get to choose.
I think it's just gonna point me to the right one if I make the luck roll, essentially.
Or that.
I don't know who's the right one to. I mean, I guess probably the mage you'd want to kill off fast because he's probably weaker and he's gonna fire off a powerful fireball or something. But probably just biting his head off quickly would be the best thing to do. Just going by typical RPG tropes. Well, usually in an RPG, you'd have like a couple guys in the front who are good fighters who would kind of prevent you from attacking the soft, mage in the back. Anyway, let's make it luck roll. We have 11 luck since I reset the character. I made the luck roll with a roll of a 6, and I must subtract 1 luck. Turn 292. Your reaction is immediate. The red-robed human is deep in thought and looks an easy target. Yeah, there we go. You step forward and swipe viciously at him with your claws. He screams and falls to the ground, clutching his face. You look down at the undefended wretch and prepare to deliver the death blow. But at that moment, you feel a terrible sting in the back which causes you to bellow and swing around. The remaining adventurer has lunged at you with its sword and succeeded in piercing. Sorry, let's adjust this. Piercing the scales and flesh on your back. You must lose 2 stamina points for the wound, and then you can face the knights in plate armor. Oh boy. I think we can handle him, but we take 2 stamina damage from his cheap shot. And let's do it. He's got skill 8, stamina 9. Knight. Skill 8, stamina 9. Is a wretch like a wench? A wretched wench. Okay, let's roll him. So we are up by 3 skill. We should be able to deal with this guy with no problem. It's possible to get a hit or 2 in, but we'll see. Alright, I totally murdered him that round. Beat him by 7 just from the dice, so he takes 2 damage. He beat me by 1 according to the dice, but again we have an edge of 3 in skill, so he actually won by 2. He takes 2 damage again. And he rolled doubles, but not me. We tied in the dice, so I win the round. He has 3 stamina left. We tied in the dice again. 1 stamina left. He rolled quite a bit higher. I think he actually hurts me this time. His total is 18 versus my 16. So I take 1 damage. Which is over here actually. 13. So he did get in a little nick at the end. Oh, it's not over yet. He could get another nick. Okay, I destroyed him that time. Okay, the Armored Knight is dead. Get out of my face, Armored Knight. And let me finish the mage, please. If you defeat the knight, turn to 446. Thanks for watching, guys. It's fun to play silly games for you. Play the best fighting fantasy game. That makes me... By the best, I mean the one that makes me say that's BS more often than any other. It is fun, though. I like being the monster, and it was fun just encountering a party right there. I'm assuming if you
I
just
feel bad just killing them.
Hey, we're the bad guys, but yeah. I felt bad about the Hobbit, but I don't know the knight though. He kind of stabbed me first. Which wench wretched the wrench? The wrench? You deliver the death blow, and the knight drops to the ground. With the danger not now over, your thoughts turn to food. Wait, what about is the mage dead? I thought I was going to deliver the death blow, but I didn't kill him yet.
Did you forget about him? Maybe.
Maybe. The smell of the
Yeah.
still warm hobbit reaches your nostrils. Your mouth begins to water. Oh, hobbit, yummy, yummy. Stu said this is just senseless killing. Hey, I'm hungry, and I have to fight some BS dark elves later, probably. So I need all the food I can get. You snatch the creature in one hand and eagerly sink your teeth into its sweet flesh. But this will merely provide a snack for you. Inside his armor, the knight is an impossible meal. But the red-robed wizard groaning on the floor. Yeah, he's still alive. Why am I not killing him? Oh, here we go. The red-robed wizard groaning on the floor may be a new taste for you to savor. You silence his miserable whimpers with a single deadly slash from your claws. For the tasty meal, you may restore your stamina to its initial level. Yeah. See, it wasn't senseless. I was hungry. After you've eaten, you rummage through the adventurer's belongings. Their packs have little to interest you. The hobbit carried a miniature sword, and you find a rolled up piece of thin parchment in the wizard's robe. All three humans carried humans. I thought the hobbit counts as a human. I don't know. Maybe my character thinks the hobbit is a human. All three humans carried odd-shaped lumps of a doughy substance, perhaps food, although it smells of nothing to you. They have bread. They also they all also have small hide pouches containing round, flat objects of shiny metal. They got gold pieces. I don't think what these are. You cannot think what these are for, so you toss them aside. You must now continue on your journey. Passages lead off from the chamber to the north, east, and west. So east is the way I came. Let's go to the
It's
map.
not like you're gonna be buying stuff, I guess. So
Yeah. There's some. My neighbors are having a party. It's not fireworks, Ryan, but they're playing loud Christmas music, and all I can hear is the bass. Unless I like go towards the window. I'm surprised they're still doing it. No, now I'm just hearing people yelling. It's like after midnight here, and people are yelling outside. Jeez. All right. I guess it's Christmas, and that's what you do around Christmas time. I don't know. Where was I?
Christmas is in a week.
Yeah, but it's a Christmas party. You can hear. I heard like standard Christmas song, but mostly I heard the bass. You decide to take the passageway to the west. Oh, okay, I don't even roll a die. You leave the chamber, your way ahead, lit by the flickering fire. Eventually, the fire's light becomes too distant to help, and you are groping your way in pitch blackness. Suddenly, a high pitched twittering sound. Twitter? It's Elon Musk! A high pitched twittering sound comes from above you, followed by others. You have disturbed a group of flying creatures which are now squeaking in alarm as they dart about around you. You swipe at them blindly and catch one or two of them as they dive at you and scratch you with sharp claws, but your scales protect you from any serious harm, and you are soon further along the passage, where these creatures evidently do not venture. The passage turns north. So this is the flying creatures, by the way. They don't even have wings here. What's going on? Are they just
Is that
jumping at
not the
me?
flying creatures? Maybe.
At the bottom it says you disturbed a group of flying creatures.
Uh,
I don't know.
maybe they just jump and you think they're flying.
They leap around, yeah. And Stu says, why can't he stay there until he's eaten all of them? I guess I'm full on stamina, so I guess my stomach is full. And Ryan says Mark lives in the deep south of New York, the Alabama. Um, where are we? Yeah, so your scales protect you from any serious harm. Blah, blah, blah. So I'm going through this passage and bends to the right. If it turns north, you follow it around the bend to the right and stop in front of a wooden door. Okay, I've got a door right here. God, my drawing is terrible. There's a door. I think there's a door on this other side too that I forgot to draw. There's no other way forward. Will you heave at the door with your shoulder, or is there something else you wish to do? I don't know. You tell me, dice. The dice say move. No, this says 3 to 6, turn to 101. You know what? I think this is miscaptioned, this picture, because if you glance at this other paragraph, I don't want to spoil anything, but just looking at it a little bit, it says your eyes widen as three scrawny creatures form before you. They are thin and angular and moving quick, jerky motion. That seems like this picture, but they captioned it wrong. You disturbed a group of flying creatures. So good job on that one.
Maybe the caption's just unrelated.
That doesn't make sense. I think they gave the wrong caption. All right, so I guess I'm beating down the door. Excuse me. The door cracks under the force of your blow. A hole appears and you rip the timbers away until it is large enough for you to pass through. Torches are mounted on the wall of the room inside, and there are two doors, one to the east and one to the west. There is no furniture to speak of, but some remains, perhaps of a table and chair, litter the floor among a thin covering of dirty straw. The wood has been broken in what appears to have been a furious battle, the result of which lies before you. So let's see, we're in a room. Oh, there's torches. There's two doors, one on the east and one to the west. Okay. In the center of the room is a familiar sight. Casting your mind back to the battle you have just won, you recognize the figure of an armored knight lying face down in the straw. Something else killed a knight. His face is hidden under an elegant helmet decorated with wings coming from above each ear. A dark-bladed sword has entered his body through a gap in his armor between his arm and his shoulder. Lying next to the knight are three other figures. One is similar in stature, but wears a tough leather tunic and helmet. A bloody stain around his belly indicates how this adventurer came to grief. Hold on. Having an issue? Okay, there we go. The other two figures are not so familiar. They are shorter than the others, and they are dressed in armor of scaly brown hide. They have gnarled pug noses. Oh, these are orcs or something. They have gnarled pug-nosed faces with vicious teeth set in their lower jaws. All four bodies are long dead. You step forward to get a better look. Suddenly you hear a chomping sound coming from somewhere in the room. Is it me eating things? In fact, several places. Oh, it must be like rats or something. But you cannot see anything which might make such a noise. Giant rats. Your eyes pass over the adventurer in leather armor, and you suddenly freeze. While you are watching, a chunk of flesh disappears from his thigh. You watch incredulously for a few moments more. Not only does more flesh disappear from the adventurer's leg, but you also notice the body of one of the pug-nosed creatures twitch as its forearm suddenly loses a fleshy lump. There's something invisible eating them. This scene is worrying, and you must decide what to do next. Yeah, I don't know if I want to hang around invisible creatures that eat flesh. But then again, maybe I'm dead, so they don't care about me. Roll one die. If you roll 1, 2, or 3, decide to investigate the bodies further. 4, 5, or 6, you head quickly for the door to the east. No opportunity to make a luck roll there, so the die will tell me what to do. 5, I am headed quickly for the door to the east. I kind of want to investigate and see what they're about. They're probably an instant death, so maybe this is for the best. I'm going east through this little door. 168. You make your way cautiously towards the door, horrified by the sight of the bodies slowly disappearing. As you step across one of the pug-nosed creatures, your foot catches something in the air. A screeching noise from somewhere is followed by a yelp of pain from you as sharp teeth clamp onto your foot. Lose 2 stamina points. Yeah, I imagine the other thing is like you just get eaten alive. The other option. Because if I'm just evading these things, leaving them alone, and I get bitten and lose 2 stamina, I imagine sticking around means I either have to fight invisible creatures or just I insta die. I'm leaning towards insta death. The shock causes you to tumble over and this frees your foot, but as you lift yourself up, something is happening in the room. 3 shapes are materializing in front of you. Turn to 447. Oh, maybe it's just I have to fight him in either case, actually. 447. Oh, these things. It's from that miscaptioned picture. So these were invisible and now they have materialized. Your eyes widen as 3 scrawny creatures form before you. They are thin and angular and move in quick, jerky motions. Although their bodies are covered in a scraggy dark fur, their bony faces are bald with tiny eyes. In the center of each face is an oversized, protruding mouth. Why cautiously? It said before you hurry up to the door. Should have run. I don't know, I meant to leave. Anyway, I'm facing them now. In the center of each face is an oversized, protruding mouth rimmed with sharp teeth. These vicious little flesh feeders live on carrion. While feeding, they make themselves invisible to avoid being caught unawares. That's a pretty good power if you're like a scavenger kind of creature, but you're invisible too. You don't have to worry about getting hunted, and you just kind of invisibly eat all these corpses. But obviously, once in a while, you may face danger as they are facing from me right now. They face you, furious that their meals have been interrupted, and you must battle with the creatures. They attack together. Okay, so I have to deal with 3 enemies at once. It sounds like. Yeah. Oh. Okay. So as the rulebook mentioned, how it works is with multiple combatants, and Ryan says they're ghouls. They're called flesh feeders, but yeah, ghoul is probably an accurate term. But the way this works is they're going to each roll every turn, and I can target only one of them. I'm tempted to get different colored dice for each one just for fun. Let me do that. I'll be right back. This is totally unnecessary to be sure, but I can roll them all at once. I'll have one of them be black, black dice. Another can be red. Another can be the purple. Stu is not happy with this. He said, "What? You walked across the effing corpses on the way to the door? You knew something was there. I'm sorry, but this is very poorly written." I don't really have that much of a problem with that particular thing. I have a problem with those insta deaths stuff, and I couldn't even choose if I wanted to insta death or not. I wanted to make the insta death choice. I mean, anyway, uh, so let's get rolling here. Move that to the side. So 6. They all have skill 6, and their stamina are 6, 7, and 6. Okay. We'll call them Flesh Eater 1, Flesh Eater 2, Flesh Eater 3, skill 666, the number of the beast, stamina 676, and that's that, I guess. Let me figure out how I'm going to do this. I guess it's probably better to pick off the lower stamina one of the lower stamina ones first, although it doesn't really make a huge difference here, 6, 7, and 6. It's not like they're vastly different. What is that from, Stu? Oh, he's looking at another. Oh, okay. I'm spoiling something about Whiteleaf the elf. Yeah, I don't want to read it. I don't want to spoil it. Okay, I'm getting all my various dice together. Just because I thought it would be fun to do it this way. Although, again, it's totally unnecessary. So I can roll all of the enemy combatants at once. I was trying to think, does it matter which one I assign to each number? I guess it does, because I have to roll higher than the one I'm targeting, right? Yeah, probably. We'll say the first one is the black one. The rest shouldn't matter. Here we go. It's like playing Tunnels and Trolls rolling that many dice. Okay, so my total is 18, and Flesh Eater number one got a 15 in total, so I hurt him. And the others, the question is, do they roll higher than me to hurt me? And the answer is no, because they got 5 and 5. I don't even need to do the math, because even the one who rolled a 9 did not beat my roll. I just rolled doubles. That means I insta-kill this first guy. Flesh Eater down. It's my first doubles roll. And the others, they clearly did not roll high enough. So on to, I'm going to target Flesh Eater 3. I'm going to take the black ones away because that one died. Well, let's say Flesh Eater 3 is the red one. Red dice. Okay, so once again, I am victorious. I rolled higher or equal, but my skill is much higher. So I hurt Flesh Eater 2 and Flesh Eater 3 and 2 did not hurt me. Ooh. Did I say red was Flesh Eater 3? I think I did. Do you remember, Rob?
I don't remember.
Okay, so we'll go with that though, and it looks like in this case, number 2 did not beat me because it only beat me by 4, but number 3 did beat me, so I take a damage. I need you here, Rob Bob, to roll dice with me. Ooh, I rolled poorly. Okay. But I'm still targeting number 3, by the way. Looks like I did hit number 3, but perhaps number 2 was able to damage me. It beat me by 5, and my skill is higher than his by 5, so we actually tied. It wasn't that bad. And I managed to do damage to number 3. So hopefully I can finish number 3 now. I did say it was red. Cool. Thanks for keeping me honest, Stu. And yeah, so red rolled higher by 3. That means I killed it. Purple rolled higher than me by 4, which means he didn't hurt me, because again, my skill is greater by 5. Now let's just deal with number 2. I hurt him. You can tell it's obvious. I rolled much higher. What else we got here? Okay, once again, I damaged it. We rolled the same numbers, but my skill is higher. So this is obviously a foregone conclusion, probably. And it has 1 hit point left. It's all about, do they manage to get any damage into me, which they did not, except for that one time. So yeah, they did a little damage, I guess, overall. But we have slain the 3 flesh eaters, or flesh feeders, whatever they're called. Hooray! If we defeat them, turn to 89. Flesh Eater 3 just bit my junk off, says Stu. Yeah, who needs that, right? And Ryan says Flesh Eater 3 sounds like a bad zombie movie. Well, there'd have to be a Flesh Eater 1 and 2 first. You rest for a few moments to catch your breath, and then you survey the room. Your curiosity overcomes you, and you begin to investigate the 7 bodies in the room. The pug-faced orcs are dirty and smelly. You try a mouthful of flesh, but spit it out in disgust. Around their waists, they carry small bags which, when ripped open, send a shower of small bones flying across the room. The 2 adventurers are not much more interesting. Similar pouches contain those round pieces of shiny metal which you came across before. They scatter on the floor and you ignore them. The pack on the back of the adventurer in the winged helmet is decorated and attracts your attention. And Stu says Mark is victorious but will never sire a demon heir. Okay. One of the straps breaks as you rip it off his back and grope clumsily inside. You feel something solid as you fumble angrily with the rucksack. A hard wooden casket drops to the ground and falls open. Inside is a clear, smooth flask which contains swirly purple gas. Purple knockout gas from the Joker. Your curiosity is captured, and your huge clawed hand tries to grasp the delicate flask. But this turns out to be hopeless. Eventually, you pick up the casket and drop it to the ground. As luck would have it, the flask jumps in its cradle and lands in such a way that the stopper flips. What is it? I can't like hold a potion, so I have to like. Hang on, let me just keep reading. As luck would have it, the flask jumps in its cradle and lands in such a way that the stopper flips out of the flask. The purple gas within swirls tempestuously, and its vapors seep slowly from the neck of the flask. Turn to 382. If that was an instant death right there, I'd be so pissed. I'd be like, why'd you make me even fight them? If the potion's just gonna fall and kill me.
A poisonous potion that you breathe in and it instantly kills you.
That's what it might say when I go to 382. Then I'm gonna end the stream out of anger if that's true. I'm gonna rage quit if that happens. Okay, it doesn't seem to happen. So, okay, I won't rage quit. Okay. I saw plop right here. Look at this plop.
Yeah.
Plop. I gotta show that to my friend who owns the domain plop.org. He's owned it since 1998. And you can go to the website www.plop.org. It's been like that since 1998. It's a black background with the white words centered in right in the center. It says plop. And people like to. Sometimes we Google for that and find the people talking about like, what is this website? What does it mean? Why would anybody buy this? Anyway, the gas drifts from the flask, but rather than spreading out, it pulls itself together into a purple cloud and billows up before you. You watch open-mouthed as a shape begins to form in the cloud, and eventually it turns into a face, which stares deep into your eyes. The face is human-like, but thin and with jagged features. The pupils of its eyes are not round, but are instead serpent-like. Its thin-lipped mouth opens and speaks. Jib Mar. I wonder if I really am supposed to try to decode these against that message or something. I just don't have the patience for that, though, to even try that. I mean, I feel like why would they give you all this text if there's nothing you can do with it? Like, why wouldn't it just say this is gibberish? It tells you. I don't know. It could just be for the flavor of it. The flavor. Anyway, it speaks a bunch of gibberish. Your anger mounts and you swipe at the cloud, but your hand passes right through the gas without even disturbing it. The mysterious face blinks slowly, and the color of the cloud flashes momentarily from purple. And again, it's not actually giving me a choice, though, so like I can't do anything with the text even if I wanted to, right? Unless embedded in the text is something like you can go to paragraph 304 and do something. I don't think so, though. Anyway, I'm just wondering. Your anger mounts and you swipe at the cloud, blah, blah, blah. The mysterious face blinks slowly, and the color of the cloud flashes momentarily from purple to white and purple, back to purple again. Then the face disappears, and the cloud is sucked down back into its flask. Once safely inside its flask, the stopper replaces itself in the neck, and the bottle settles into its cradle in the wooden casket. An instant later, the casket and its contents have faded to nothing. You decide you've had enough of this room, but you may add 2 luck points for your find. That's an elaborate way to give me 2 luck points. So I can go back to 11. I'd only spent 1. Will you leave through the door to the west? I can choose? I can choose? Okay. You can choose. It did say you slowly gain more sentience or awareness and stuff like that. And Ryan said, I wish it was the 90s forever. Why'd you say that out of nowhere, Ryan? Anyway, you can go through the door in the west, which is new to me, or the door to the east. I was headed for the one to the east when I was going to retreat. I'll go west just because I feel like I might run into the elf. I don't know. I'm just going to go west. I'm just happy I can make the choice. Let's go to 51. I found a strong arm. I have to fight a strong arm now. What's that message from Simpsons? It's a propaganda to join the Navy? I think it's join the Navy spelled backwards. I think that's what their encoded messages are all about. Thanks for the single like, guy. I have one like on this stream, it says. Alright. You leave the room along a passageway which runs west, your thoughts still dwelling on the mysterious smoke creature. Should I have recorded that message? I can always rewind. I can always rewind the stream. I don't think I'm going to get to a point where it could be useful, but I feel like there's something useful in that message. I see one like, Ryan says he sees two. That often happens. I'll say, I have 5 likes. I'm doing pretty good here. And Ryan will say, I see 6. So it's weird that it looks different from us all the time. It's always by 1. Or often, at least. Anyway, after a short time, you find that the passage is bending this way and that way through the rocky earth. But your progress is aided by the strange blue glowstones which are set in the roof of the passage. Oh. Did those glowstones, did that lead to the elf before? This is a different paragraph. I'm just getting nervous about those freaking elves. Anyway, I'm going through this passageway which is running crazily, I guess. I will make it a little zigzaggy, though I don't know which direction it should ultimately end up in. As you progress, glowstones ahead of you light up and bathe the area in an eerie blue light. When you look behind, you can see that they magically turn themselves off. Suddenly, a distant echo reaches your ears and you stop dead in your tracks. Again, you hear the sound and it's coming closer. Footsteps and muffled voices are heading towards you. You are fortunate in having the advantage that your own footsteps are virtually silent. So you continue ahead, ready for a fight with anything that may come along. You approach a bend. Stu might thumb down tonight. Okay. Maybe he will. He hates this book. You approach a bend. A shrill scream pierces the air, and for an instant you are not sure whether it came from your own throat or that of the terrified adventurer with whom you suddenly found yourself nose to nose when you turned the bend. But you recover quickly, and I imagine he squealed like, do you remember in The Simpsons, the episode, when Ned Flanders goes, ah, purple drapes! That's what I imagine he squealed like, purple drapes! Yeah, but you recover quickly and slash furiously at the hapless human who is still trying to compose himself after his fright. You catch him across the skimpy leather armor he wears on his chest and send him crashing into the rocky wall where he loses his grip on the sword he's carrying. His 2 companions are close behind, so you must finish off the strong arm without delay. If you defeat the warrior, turn to 320. Yeah, I'm just like killing everything I see. Okay, we got a strong arm now. They were mentioned in that introductory story, the strong arms. I don't know exactly what they mean by that. Seems like just a warrior, generic fighter type or something. Skill 7, stamina 8. Skill 7, stamina 8. Let's get our dice ready. Notice I'm using purple to match the cover of the book, which is also purple. Ta-da! Okay, let's kill this strong arm. I will be white, he will be purple because I have it handy. So we have 4 greater skill. And we tied on the dice roll, that means I heard it. Okay, I heard it again. I'm rolling pretty well. He rolled slightly higher, but not high enough. It only beat me by 1 on the dice roll, and my skill difference of 4 more than compensates. And this time, though, he rolled 9 versus my 5, which translates to a tie. Once you add the skill. This time I actually would have killed him anyway, but I rolled doubles, which is also an insta-kill. So long, strong arm. you defeat the warrior, turn to 320. I'm assuming I have to fight the other two people now. What's with all these like random? It's like we're in a dungeon or something, and there's like multiple parties of adventurers doing their things, and also evil elves who are like invincible. Uh oh, now we have to fight two guys, and they are tougher. As their leader falls, the other two adventurers rush to attack. One is a female warrior, and the other is a thief of unknown gender. Both are carrying shields and both attack you at the same time. Why do the shields matter? Oh, maybe it's something I can pick up. Okay, so we have to fight a warrior with skill 7, stamina, and stamina 7 at the same time as the thief who has skill 8, which is the greatest I've seen so far, I believe, and stamina 6. So warrior 7, 7, thief 8, 6.
I think I'm gonna go now.
All right. Thanks for hanging out, Rob Bob.
Yep.
Have a good night, and I'll see you
It
tomorrow.
was fun. Yeah, see you tomorrow.
Cool. Japanese
Bye.
class tomorrow, you know.
Yeah, what time?
1:30, so I'll pick you up at like about 1.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
All right, warrior. He's studying fluent Japanese so he can be the next samurai cop, Ryan. Skill 7, thief. Skill 8. Stamina 7. Stamina 6. Okay. Ryan says, oh, Rostu says it's surprising you so hardly ever get doubles. Yeah. It should be 1 in 6 rolls going by the probability, but I seem to have gotten it, I think, twice in about 20 rolls, maybe. Ryan says he's due for a Samurai Cop rewatch. Maybe that's what we should like do a watch party for. That would be awesome. All right, Warrior and Thief. Let's get this show on the road. I'm gonna target the Thief first. I think I want to knock him out. He has lower stamina and is more of a danger. So let's fight him first. Let's go with Warrior Red, Thief Purple. Let's roll. Okay, I didn't get a great roll here, unfortunately. Warrior Red. Warrior had beat me by 4 on the dice, but our difference in skill is 4, so that's a tie. But the Thief beat me by 5 and unfortunately does damage to me. So I take 1 damage. I have 12 stamina. Alright, let's keep rolling. No, I don't think Samurai Cop is public domain. Alright, looks like I rolled pretty well. I beat them both, so I'm damaging the Thief by 2. That's the one I'm targeting. It looks like we all rolled crap. We all rolled a 5, look at that. Alright, so I damage the Thief again. And I rolled higher than them both, which means I can assume that I did damage. I killed the Thief. Now we can focus on the warrior. It beat me in the roll by 2, but I still win. Beat me in the roll by 1, I still win. It's got 3 left. It's going down shortly. So Ryan says you can stream stuff on Discord and it's okay because it's private. Define okay. I don't think they look at what you're streaming. You could argue they probably have a way to check, but they probably don't. They're probably just saying they're like terms of service that you swear not to. You're not going to stream anything illegal essentially. Oh crap! It looks like I lost this round. So I don't know. It's not. Long story short, it's not going to be legal to stream a movie that's not in the public domain. But it seems unlikely that they'll do anything about it. But you could be surprised. All right, knocked him down to 1. There are other things you can do that don't involve another service. You could like stream directly from your own machine and encrypt it. And it looks like he actually damaged me again. Oof. Yeah. So down to 10 stamina. I could eat another provisions. I'm gonna actually gonna be eating them too, probably. I'm gonna be eating their corpses and hopefully getting healed. Okay, 6 versus 7. I beat him this time. The warrior goes down. He's dead. Time for lunch. Turn to 281. Hey, look at this guy. That's not what I'm fighting now. You poke around the bodies of the 3 dead ruffians. Something shining on the wrist of the third adventurer catches your attention. It's a wristwatch. Clumsily, you rip at the clothing of all 3, eventually exposing 3 objects of interest. The leading adventurer wore around his neck a pendant made of a dull, dark metal on a leather thong. The third adventurer wore 2 wrist bracelets of a shining yellow metal. The other carried a pouch containing 12 small, flat discs of a shiny metal. Yeah, time for lunch, exactly. It's not letting me eat them right away, though. Why am I looking at their stuff when I'm hungry? Which of these is the most interest to you? I don't know. Dull metal. I mean, they always kind of. Actually, this is. I was about to say this is inconsistent and that's silly. But if you notice, it's letting me pay attention to these things now, and even the pouch containing the discs. It did mention early on that my guy will get more like awareness. So now I'm not automatically discarding the gold, and I guess the other stuff too. I'm assuming it's gold pieces. It could be like silver or whatever. So I still don't think that would be a top priority to get money, but the pendant is of a dull dark metal. I mean, in a fantasy game, things like pendants and talismans can be magical often. Hey, I think the dull pendant is the way to go. I'm agreeing with you, Stu. The bracelets could be something too. I mean, they could all be something, but let's go with the dull metal pendant. So we're going to go to 306. You put it on and you're dead. The end. Oh, man. And Stu, as we've already established, you don't care about money. True. I don't care too much for money. I just care about eating hobbits. You are fascinated by the ugly pendant. You carefully hook the leather thong with a with a claw and pull it free of the adventurer's head. Yeah, I can eat the shopkeeper. That's a good point. Unless the shopkeeper is really tough. You pull it free of the adventurer's head. You turn it over in your hand and see that it is circular with a dull blue stone set in the center. You stare at the pendant for some time, wondering what to do with it. Then you remember how the adventurer wore it. You are just able to squeeze it over your head, and you carry the pendant proudly around your neck. The pendant has a secret, which will be revealed in due course. If you reach a reference from which begins you cannot see a thing, deduct 20 from the reference number and you are on at the time and turn to this new reference. You may add 1 luck point for this find. So my luck is already maxed out. But that's interesting. I gotta write this down. Pendant. And the trigger word is you cannot see a thing. So whenever I find a paragraph that says you cannot see a thing, I will subtract 20 from the paragraph number and go there. That's pretty cool. Okay, just scrolling that down so I don't forget. That's fun. I like when there's special things like that where you have to subtract or do something to the paragraph number. That way the game doesn't just make it obvious, like an obvious choice. You have to derive it in some way. 115. Stu says because your luck is maxed out, why can't you add one more? Because it said in the rules at the beginning that you can't go beyond your starting luck. So something would say it adds to your luck, but that just means you replenish luck that you've lost. Which probably means I should be using luck more. Before you find it, well, I don't really have to too often though. In the combats, it's pretty easy. Like you can use luck to adjust damage in the combats. Anyway, before you finally leave the adventurers, you may decide to feed on them. If you do, gain 4 stamina points. Then you continue. Yeah, of course I'm going to eat them. Yummy. I'm back at 14 stamina. I had 10 a moment ago. Then you continue. All is silent as you walk carefully along the passage. Eventually, your ears pick up the sound of running water, and the air becomes moist and cool. The sensation would be quite refreshing if it were not for an unpleasant smell which gets stronger as the sound of the water becomes louder. Soon you find yourself on a ledge in the face of a rocky cliff. Looking out, you can see you are high over a vast cavern through which a river flows. Leading down from your ledge into the center of the cavern is a flight of rough-cut stairs. The precarious staircase spans the river and is the only way onwards, but the thought of descending the stairs is not one which fills you with enthusiasm. The narrow steps have been made for human-sized feet, and your large pads will make your descent awkward. The smell, which was unpleasant before, is now horrendous, and seems to be coming from the river itself. Its waters are murky brown, and the smell of excrement and decay is overpowering. Nevertheless, your only way on is downward, so down you must go to test your luck. Okay. How am I going to draw this on the map? There's a bunch of twisty passages and stuff, and eventually the river. Okay, just writing the word river. That'll do it. That'll do. Yeah, my luck is back at 11. 3, I totally made that. Luck is down at 10 again. I am lucky, turned to 166. The waters are murky brown. Yes, exactly. Murky brown. The descent is dangerous, and several times you lose your footing and stumble on the slippery steps. But your luck holds out, and you finally arrive at the foot of the staircase. The stench of the river is especially foul to your sensitive nostrils, and your eyes search desperately for a way out of the cavern. You discover 2 openings in the rock face ahead of you. One leads to the west, and the other to the north. Will you continue north or turn west? I think I'm just going to go north because I'm at the left edge of my, my paper here. But let's see, openings in the rock face. I'll just say you can go west or north. I'm going to go north. Whoops, 358. Passage leads from the opening in the rock face into the rock face, and you follow it. But you find that as you travel north, the light fades rapidly. There are no glowstones in this passage, and you must progress carefully, steadying yourself by running your hands along both walls. The ground underfoot is rocky, and several times you stub your toes painfully on the protruding stones. Ouch. Later, you can no longer touch both walls at once. Although you are unable to see anything, you sense you are entering a large chamber. What was the trigger word for that thing? You cannot see a thing, not although you are unable to see anything. Yeah, it's true, Ryan. Ryan says, remember when Murphy Brown being a single mom was controversial? Simpler times. I think it was, yeah, she wasn't, I don't want to get too into Murphy Brown, but I think she wasn't like, married in this show. It wasn't like she was married and divorced later. I think she got pregnant while single was the idea. So that was very controversial in like 1992 or whatever. Anyway, turn to 257. I might be remembering wrong. I don't know. I think that was what happened. cannot see a thing. I just got you cannot see a thing. I can use my special talisman or pendant. Look at that. You cannot see a thing. So do I turn to it right away? I guess I do, right? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go to. You said the trigger had to be at the beginning of the passage. Yeah, here it is in this one. You cannot see a thing. So let's subtract 20 from that and go to 237. This is cool. I'm glad it wasn't like some obscure case in which I could use the pendant. It's something I found quickly. Like, here we go. Found it pretty soon after. As you shuffle around the wall of the cavern, you suddenly notice a strange sensation coming from your neck. The pendant you picked up is beginning to vibrate slightly and is giving out a faint hum. But when you continue around the wall, the vibration fades until the pendant is once more still. You puzzle over this for a few moments and step back to where you were before. Again, the vibrations and humming come from the pendant, and you pause to look at what's happening. The dull blue stone set in its center is beginning to glow, and you watch in amazement as its color changes from blue to a living red, as though a fire were burning inside it. An instant later, a single beam of red light shoots from the stone, and it kills you. No, shoots from the stone to a point on the wall in front of you. Following its direction, you can see what seems to be a piece of rock hanging in mid-air. As if ordered by the pendant, you grasp the rock and pull. It is not hanging in mid-air, but is attached to a rope. Last time I tugged on a rope, I don't know. It's attached to a rope, and your tug is answered by a rumble in the rock in front of you. A doorway is opening. Cool. The pendant led us to a secret passage. The pendant you have found is in fact a magic talisman which has a special power. It is able to detect hidden doorways. In the future, it will warn you of the presence of secret doors, but you will have to watch for the warning signs. If you reach a reference which begins, you find yourself. Well, that's a pretty vague one, but okay. You find yourself, then you may look for a secret passage using the talisman's help. I don't mean it's vague. I mean you just. I feel like I might just gloss over it because it's kind of like not very. It's kind of not strong words. It's like something I would tend to gloss over. Like you see a thing or something. But anyway, you find yourself. I'll have to remember that. We'll write it down, obviously. So you add 20 to the reference you're on at the time and turn to the new reference. If a secret door is present, the new reference will make sense. Okay, so I have to determine if it makes sense or not, depending on the paragraph. The new reference will make sense and the talisman will show you its secret. If the new reference makes no sense, there is no secret door. If you are able to, you may add 1 luck point for finding the secret door. Nice. Okay, so let me write all that down and then I can enter the secret door. Yeah, I gotta enter the secret door. It's gonna be an instant death. Alright, so the trigger phrase is if it begins, you find yourself. Wow, suddenly the music out there got really loud. It's close to 1 o'clock here. I mean, come on. I don't know if you guys hear that. It's insane. Okay. I have noise cancellation on, so maybe you don't. But shouldn't be playing music that loud at 1 a.m. Come on. I know I'm sounding like an old fart, but 1 a.m. I'm not talking like 10:30 here. To find secret passage. Okay. They're cool dudes, says Ryan. Yep, they're cool dudes. Alright. Enter the secret door to 458. Better not be those friggin' elves. You find the dark elves. He's got a bow. He shoots it at you. You're dead. It seems like there were. I mean, I played for a while now and haven't run into an instant death. I wonder if I just like kind of had bad luck and ran into like the few instant deaths that there are in the game, like right away, or maybe they just put them early on in the game so that I guess it's better to have them early than later. You could just not have them all at all, but I don't know. Anyway, you crouch low and squeeze through the narrow gap. Uh-oh. I have moderators here. Do your business. Do your duty, moderators. You crouch low and squeeze through the narrow gap. As you pass through the doorway, a single glowstone flicks on to reveal the contents of the small chamber in which you are now standing in. The room is completely bare except for a large chest against one of the walls. Am I, which, hold on, I'm kind of lost track on the map here, which direction this thing even was. I went north. I don't think it told me the direction of the secret door. Thank you, Stu. You nailed it. You owned that bot. Okay, I'm going to draw something. I don't think it told me the direction, though, of the secret door. I'm going to say it's north. I'm making it up. Okay, boo, 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 boo. Yeah, the room is completely bare except for a large chest against one of the walls. Chest. You step over and examine the chest. You push it, shove it, and bash it, trying to break it open. Finally, a lucky push opens the lid. Inside, you find two mysterious objects. The first is a large circular plate made of strong metal. Was it a shield? It has a sharp spike which protrudes from the center on one side and two leather straps on the other. Yeah, it's a spiked shield. Actually, it mentioned that two of those the guys I fought, the warrior and the thief, each had a shield, but then it didn't let me like look at a shield or anything like that. I mean, I don't really care, but just interesting. And over here, it seems to like indicate that I'm learning what this thing is for the first time. Like I don't even know what a shield is. I will complain to the internet immediately. I'll register my complaint to the authors of Fighting Fantasy. Steve Jackson. Let's look up Steve Jackson's email address. Anyway, yeah. On the same side of the straps is attached a leather pouch which may be useful for carrying things. The other object is a piece of rough colored rock about the size of your forearm. One end is wide and the other is much narrower. It is a dull green color and glistens faintly in the light, but it appears very brittle. It may make a useful weapon gripped by the tapered end, but it would no doubt not last long in battle. You may take one of these items with you. One of these items with you. I don't know, only one, but it's fun to have a choice, I guess. Any metallic discs may be placed in the pouch on the plate if you choose this object. Oh, I don't have the metallic discs. If you choose a plate, turn to 197. If you choose a rock, turn to 110. I didn't get what they're saying about the rock. Rough colored rock. It's like a stalactite or something. The size of your forearm. One end is wide, the other is narrow. It's a dull green color and glistens faintly in the light, but it appears very brittle. So it's like and it doesn't seem to be like a spear or any like proper weapon. But it's in a chest. Huh. I think I want to take that. I don't know though. Is it just brittle? It might only like be usable once or something. Hmm. What do you guys think? You can get a shield that apparently has like a coin pouch attached to it as well, or this brittle. I'm calling it a stalactite. That's what I'm imagining like, but something that's like a cheap weapon that won't last long, but it maybe it'll hurt people for one shot or something like that, or add to my skill for one shot. Oh, Ryan votes for the shield. Okay. Should we go with the shields too? What do you think? Take the rock, sister. All right, so I'm leaning towards the rock, so that means basically we got two votes for the rock and one for the shield. So I'll go for the rock. 110. You don't have Rob Bob to vote anymore. You have chosen a crystal club. That's interesting. Make sure it says the club on the handle. Yeah, where's Arturo? Arturo doesn't. I don't know. Maybe he got a life again. He's going out on Saturday night. But You have chosen a crystal club. It is not valuable, but to your way of thinking, it is a beautiful trophy. Okay. However, it is quite brittle. If at any time in the future you wish to use it in combat, turn to reference 333 to find out what happens. Okay, let's write that down. Uh, what's it, a crystal club? Crystal club. Can use in combat. Okay. You must remember the number of the reference you were on at the time. Yeah, sure. So you can return there. Now leave the chamber and turn to 257 to continue your journey. Let's do it. We are at 1 a.m. I should end this soon. It is kind of getting fun now. Now that we've gotten past the total BS stuff, I'm enjoying myself. I kind of like this, you're the monster perspective. It's almost like playing as Grendel or something like that. And Ryan says, I think Arturo is now 18sex.xyz. Yeah, sure. Maybe it is him. You cannot see a thing. Your feet. I'm not looking at this Chaos Warrior, by the way. We're looking at 257. Your feet shuffle noisily through the straw which covers the floor as you grope around the walls for a way out. If this cavern is the lair of another creature, then you may well be walking straight towards it, but you hear no sounds other than your own, and eventually you reach a hole in the rock, which is large enough for you to walk through and leads to a passageway. You continue slowly along the passage, still groping. Sorry about this bad camera work. Still groping your way, but you stop when a blue light flicks on in front of you. The welcome hue of a glowstone makes you blink and turn away until your eyes become accustomed to the light. When you are finally able to take in your surroundings, you find that you are at a junction where you may either turn to the east, turn to 61, or west 309. I kind of really lost track of where I'm supposed to be on this map. I was going through areas and it didn't really mention directions, and now we're back back mentioning directions. So east or west, okay. I'm gonna wing it. Let's go east. Because again, I'm at the left side of my map. Remember glowworms? That's what those toys you would squeeze and they would light up? The little wormy guy? If so, no, I don't remember them at all. 61. I don't think I had a glowworm, but my sister did. Oh god, I thought I was gonna fight this guy again. 61, not 63. You turn east and follow the passageway. You pass under a narrow archway and find yourself in an open room, which is well lit by torches fixed high on the walls. You look around for a way onwards, but the only passage... People yelling outside again. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. The only passage leading from the room is the one you arrived along. The room is bare except for a small pile of what looks like black cloth lying against one of the walls. Do you want to investigate the room further, 334, or would you rather leave 444? Was it black cloth? I'll investigate. You had popples? Popples are like those little guy that like folded into themselves, sort of. Why are they? They're having a party, and funny thing is, there's no way they're. I guess they must be. I was gonna say there's no way they're hanging outside because the temperature is like 30 degrees or something. And I don't think I would hear them if they were inside though. So I guess they're drinking outside or something. I don't know. Or smoking something. I'm gonna investigate 334. Oh, it looks like we have a surprise stabber. bear with me as I bring out the screwdriver again to tighten this thing again. Once again, the arm always gets loose in my book stand, and I have to screw it on a little more once in a while. Anyway, a shadowy figure is about to stab us. I think this is me. I look like that. Stu said I would stay away from the black cloth. It sounds like a monster. Yeah, I'm probably dead now, but I decided to investigate anyway. You wander around the room, but there is nothing particularly remarkable about it. You stop by the pile of cloth and bend down to pick it up, but to your alarm, it springs into the air and disappears. Astonished at this strange occurrence, you look round the room for signs of the cloth. The flickering shadows make your search more difficult, and in the end, you shake your head and ignore the incident. It's like, just one of those things. You begin to move off towards the archway when you suddenly feel a sharp stabbing in your back. You spin round, roaring loudly to face your attacker. There is no one there, but drops of dark liquid rolling off your back and dripping onto the floor confirm that you've certainly been injured. You must lose 2 stamina points. That takes us to 12. You search around trying to spot your attacker. You get your first warning of the phantom you are facing. Your shadow shifts against the wall, and as it does so, it reveals another shadow, trying to remain concealed within your own. A spindly arm rises above your shadow with a sharp knife clutched in its hand. You leap to one side as the arm descends. The knife catches your shadow's arm as you jump away, and dark blood seeps from between the scales of your arm. You must lose 2 more stamina points. Oh, come on. What do you want to do now? Will you attempt to fight the deadly shadow stalker you are facing? If so, turn to 34. If you want to grab for torches, turn to 379. If you prefer to flee the area, turn to 242. Huh. How would torches be good here? Let me think about that. Would the torches eliminate the shadow? Is that the idea? You could make more shadows, depending on how the lighting is. Yeah, that sounds like a fun thing to try, though. Grab for the torches. Could also just flee. I'm gonna grab for the torches. Let's do it. Wait, so these torches are sitting in the room lit already? Is that it? Did it say that? Yeah, I don't remember. It's probably the previous paragraph. So I'm wondering if it'll make a difference, essentially. Right, I'm going to grab for the torches. Stu agrees, so I'm going to go for it. Grab for the torches. 379. You reach up for the torch on the wall beside you, but it is just out of your reach. Ah. Meanwhile, the Shadow Stalker is once more poised for attack, and only by shifting sideways quickly do you avoid a fatal blow. This is getting nasty. Instead, the plunging knife grazes your Shadow's leg. Lose 1 stamina. I got 9 left. We can now try to fight the creature, offer a gesture of peace, or flee as quickly as possible. Gesture of peace? That's a weird option. It's gonna murder me if I do. I think I'm just gonna fight it. What do you guys think? 34 to fight it, gesture of peace at 135, or flee as quickly as possible at 242. So it's kind of weird that it added that option. Like now I can't do the torch thing, but I can offer a gesture of peace. And they're just out of reach, the torches. That's kind of annoying. It's like, why would it give me the option? It's like, I can't reach it. Yeah, exactly. I can't step like 2 steps over or something. I don't know. Or maybe it's like high up and I can't reach. Didn't really explain it too well. I think I'm just gonna fight it. I don't know. Okay, I'm expecting this to go horribly, but I'm gonna try to fight it. 34. I do have to wrap up the stream, so if I die, I die. $34. Once more, the Shadow Stalker raises its knife and plunges it down into your shadow. Oh, again, you try to leap aside, but this time its blow grazes your chest. Lose 2 more stamina points. I'm at 7. You try anticipating where the creature will be and slashing it with your claws, but your blow cuts through thin air. The Shadow Stalker does not even try to avoid you. Again, you slash ineffectually, and this time the creature plunges its knife into your shadow. I gotta get out of here. Your shadow's back. The pain shoots through your body, lose 3 stamina points. You must decide what to do. Now it's giving me just those 2 choices. I could try to make peace with it or run away. This was the wrong option. I have 4 stamina. Make peace. What am I gonna say to this thing? Like, wait, let's be nice. The thing is, I'm wondering if that's actually the correct option I'm supposed to be doing. But I can't rationalize that making sense. Just this shadow. It's obviously, some kind of a creature, a supernatural killer that just stabbing me repeatedly. And I'm gonna be like, let's make peace. Yeah, Stu. Stu told me to ignore the black clock. It's too late for that now. Question is, do I want to escape or make peace? I feel like I guess I'll try escaping. I don't know. Making peace sounds idiotic. But I just keep thinking, why are they giving me this weird option? There must be something to do. And it was only available once I tried reaching for the torch, which is strange. I didn't have that option originally. Alright, I guess I'm going to escape at 242. It'll be like, it stabbed you 5 more times. Each time is another loss of 2 stamina. Oh. Here we go. In a state of panic, you lumber towards the door as quickly as you're able. The Shadow Stalker, however, is quicker, and its knife finds your back as you flee. Lose 3 stamina points. I'm at 1. This thing is just stabbing the crap out of me. When you reach the archway, your 2 shadows separate. The Shadow Stalker becomes faint as the light fades. In the light of the glowstones, you hardly cast a shadow at all, and it seems to worry the creature. It slips back along the wall into the room and settles on the floor. You blink and look again. The creature now looks like a pile of black cloth. You turn and leave the room, still not certain of what has happened. Eventually, you reach the junction and continue westward. Okay, I can eat food now because I'm not. I guess I could technically eat food anytime I'm not in a combat. So I think I can do that now. And, I mean, I have 9 provisions and each one heals you by 4. I might as well eat like 2 or 3 off the bat. Let's eat 2 for now. That takes me back to 9 stamina. Okay, eventually you reach the junction and go to 309. What's the shadow? What's it called? Shadow bullshitter? Shadow stalker. Yeah, part of me wants to peek at that paragraph of making peace with it. But I don't know. That sounds stupid. I don't want to spoil things. All right, Ryan is out. Good night, Ryan. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up soon too. Let me just go to 309 and see what it says. Am I just back at that junction I was at before, essentially? We're gonna go west or east. The passage continues west and turns sharply to the right. A few paces along the corridor, you reach a junction where you can either go west or north. Okay, kind of lost exactly where I am here. Guess like this. Okay, I think I'm going to call it, because it is 1:15. And that's past my bedtime. But this was fun. I mean, obviously there's some BS in this, but I'm enjoying it overall. Especially when just got past those instant deaths at the beginning. But yeah, it's fun. I like how you're the monster. One funny thing is though, I actually have the I play Tunnel and Troll sometimes on these streams, and I have the flip side of Tunnels and Trolls, which is called Monsters, in which you play the monsters. So it's kind of like something like this, I would imagine. And there are a couple of solitaire adventures for it, so maybe I'll try one of those sometime. But that's it for now. For now, it says 0 concurrent viewers, so I guess everybody's gone. Or sometimes it lies to me. So I don't know if you're there or not, Stu or Arturo or anybody. But thanks for joining, and see you next time. By the way, I plan on next Wednesday having a Commodore Christmas stream, so that should be fun. I'll be playing games and demos for Commodore that pertain to Christmas and perhaps other holidays of the season. But that's all. Have a good night. Take care.